Hey everybody, it's Stefan the Old World Gamer along with Mr. Six Sev Cyrus, and welcome back to another episode of the Retro Indie Pixels podcast. We're going to apologize for last week. Not that there wasn't any good news, there just wasn't a whole lot of news that we found was important enough to make a full podcast. And yeah, so we decided, you know what, let's take the night off and let's just relax, do some gaming, and that's what we did. So, you know, from time to time that happens, and that's okay. It says, you know, we all need time to relax. Hey,
don't we?
Liz.
Well, it turns out that a game happened during the last week, and that game is Loop Hero, which happens to be a lot of things this week, but for now that's our soundtrack.
Alright, so, something that we didn't do last week, though, Steve, is we didn't announce any game that you were going to play after the stream.
We didn't?
It's okay.
Whoa.
We will sort it out. You know what? Maybe sometimes it's nice to have it as a surprise. People are like, oh, what games are you going to play? And then it's a surprise for you. Surprise! So... anyways, we're going to play that Loop Hero soundtrack. Let's go. Oh, it's loud.
I'm sorry, I was very excited about this. It's a great soundtrack. This game was all the rage for a little while. It's a short game, so it's already over. But enjoy the soundtrack. I want to talk about really old things.
Oh, Steve!
Yes.
This is only the first track, and it likes the sounds of it. How do I not, like, how is the... when did this game come out?
Shh.
Okay.
We're going to talk about it later. Oh my god.
It's okay. We'll talk about it later.
I'm very excited about that game. Sorry.
Apparently.
But okay. I want to go back into the past a ways. I don't know how old this is, but let's all get in our DeLorean here for a second.
I guess we should probably take out that dimmer first. Oh.
Dimmer? What's
going
on?
When you go and watch the stream, there's a dimmer that I put up so that way you can't see the background of like what I'm looking at on the screen.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't take the dimmer off yet. Now the dimmer's off.
Okay. One other thing I'm going to mention, since you like the soundtrack so much, it's an hour and a half of goodness, so hold on to your seats.
Oh, I'm down.
So we're getting in the DeLorean, guys. Have you guys ever heard of a Sega arcade cabinet? What is the name of this thing even? I'm sorry, it's the R360 that we're talking about here. One was discovered in the field, and this is the first I've ever heard of this thing, so I wanted to talk about it, regardless of the whens and wheres. This is a hardware gaming thing.
I'm pretty sure this is like a racing, like a gyroscopic racing game or something. So it allowed you to rock or something. I'm pretty sure.
This says it was released with 2 games.
Okay.
I did my homework on this one. I can't remember though. I'm trying to see in the article where it says that. G-Lock Air Battle, which resembled Afterburner, one of the best Master System games, and Wing War, which was the cabinet exclusive. So, some of the details of this I'm releasing a little bit ahead here, because I've never seen these before. You needed an attendant to play this game from some of the pictures in this article, so I wanted to talk about this. I have not seen Sega property like this. There might be others like crazy cool Sega arcades that I might be vaguely aware of in some way, shape, or form, but this is it's different because, as OWG was saying, it's gyroscopic. So I want to talk about this just a little bit.
When I say gyroscopic, I don't mean it's full gyroscopic. Like, I don't mean like you can turn right upside down or anything like that. I mean like it goes like a little bit from side to side. So like if you were, I thought it was racing, but it's actually the shoot 'em ups. So I think the way that it worked is that if you lean to one side, it would literally just allow you to lean like this much. So, but it would be enough for you. I think in the game, your jet or whatever the hell it is would also move the same way. So that way, like if you lean one way or the other way, then your jet would go the same way.
Which, while it might not be a big deal, it's still fun and different for gaming. Which is why I'm like, hey, why don't we know more about these? And if you guys know about it, at me on Twitter. I want to talk about these things. This is interesting. I guess I'll get into the meat of the article here now, because how does one get found in a discarded fashion in a UK field? And if you see these pictures, you're probably going to be as sad as and angry as I am, considering this is the first I've heard of the damn thing and it's in ruins.
Yeah.
As a kid exploring the country, I always wished I could have found Viking coins, a rusty sword, or a rare Sega arcade cabinet. Maybe not that last part, Mr. Sebastian, but colorful writing, and I enjoy this one. Okay, that last part isn't true, in fact. I never even knew stuff like this could just randomly turn up in the countryside. Cutting-edge arcade cabinets from the 90s don't usually crop up while walking the dog. Yeah, if I knew as a kid that you could go out exploring and find this kind of stuff, I don't think I would have gone to sleep at night. I just would have been like, give me a flashlight. I'm going looking for old retro stuff.
But see, unless you really knew about what this thing was, from a distance, like from a road, and if this was in amongst the scrap heap of different stuff, at a certain angle, you'd probably never know what it is. You'd just be like, oh, that's some random garbage. But I mean, if it was literally pointing the way it is in that picture right now, yeah, I'm sure some fucking retro gamer would have been like, oh god, hey, Mr. Guy with the garbage, do you want to get rid of this thing here? I'll give you $100. And he'd be like, yeah, it's deadly, get this the fuck off my property. And they'd be like, oh god, I'm gonna go home and masturbate. But unfortunately, it was probably, like I said, under stuff or other things were in the way, brush was in the way, at an angle so that you didn't really know exactly what it was. And so, like, unless you were some dude who was, like, very adamant about finding one of these, and you like this guy, and you just happened to walk by, you might have been like he probably walked by it enough times to be able to, like, wait now, what the fuck is that? Looks like an arcade machine. And then finally goes in and says, oh shit, this is, what is this? It's a Sega. So then you look it up and then you find out what it is, and now you have an article.
Yeah. So this whole thing for me is like, if I had seen this, I might have thought it was farm equipment. The way
that's what I'm saying.
It's been left to the wayside. And yeah, we have an article, but this is a page in history sitting in a Northern Ireland field. Why is it just in the middle of nowhere in Ireland getting destroyed by time?
Could be a dozen different reasons, really. It could have been owned by some dude who was selling drugs and liked video games, got busted. They had a real estate fucking, sale. Video game enthusiasts at the time probably didn't go to those real estate sales and stuff, and then therefore they just lost out on, like, a treasure. And some dude probably just like, hey, a bunch of random electronics. He's just like, I need them TVs. I'll grab the TVs. Remember what the fuck that thing is. I'll just throw it in the backyard. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna continue on here because that we could speculate on.
I love speculating. Let's do it.
It's crazy. Let's just say it was lost to time and rediscovered by time, because that's the most convenient way it could be kind of easily summed up there. The writer goes on to say, as far as historical finds goes, this one blows Sutton Hoo out of the water. Not sure what we're referencing here, but okay. Found abandoned in the middle of a northern Irish field. Like I was saying, this Sega R360 gyroscopic-inspired cabinet looks as though it's certainly seen better days. And we were talking about that before I even started the article. It looks so bad. So bad. The writer thought it was a prop from a Star Wars film when they first saw it.
See? That's what I'm saying.
No one knows what this thing is. What's the R360? Apparently lost to time to everyone. Then they realized it was something much better, which I hope so, because the story here is much more interesting than anything. In a field close to Antrim, to County Antrim, fellow retro gaming enthusiast Lee Peters spotted the star-looking cabinet and took a closer inspection. Having spent many happy years playing on R360s during his childhood, it's fair to say that he made the find of his life. What?
I mean...
Is this an Irish exclusive? Like, is this the only place that it went to outside of Japan?
I'm not sure, but, I mean, if you're really good at electronics and you really are into it and, like, want to do restoration and stuff, I mean, you could still restore it. You're looking at having to redo a lot of shit, though. Like, a lot, because that look like... The electronic components of it looks fucked. And
you're
like
basically only recovering plastic from this.
The other part is,
metal.
if you go scan down further, the second part for it, the part that looks like a fucking standing, like, TV camera, I don't see it in these pictures. Like, other than if that's it right there, this rusted fuckery right here, then yeah, that's... I don't think there's any saving that. I think it's basically toast at that point.
Yeah, like I said, it's more the curiosity of the object for me, and the games that were played on it, because there was an exclusive, the Wing War, and I'm like, what? Can I go track down a ROM of this somewhere? Because I'm sure Sega would love to hassle me for playing this game at that point.
What are you doing?
Go ahead, re-release it, please. But anyway, no. You needed an attendant to play this in the old school days. So, like, what the hell? This whole concept is, how did it get lost to time? County Antrim, Ireland. Why were you hiding this? And why did someone who enjoyed this thing find it? Like, there are so many miracles involved here. I'm just gonna be like, hello, universe. Hi. We're talking about the R360 because it happened. We're looking at it. Are we supposed to be confused? Because I'm confused. But intrigued.
Intrigued.
Oh, here's one of the details that I did not look into. One of 200 is sitting in the field there. That's 200 worldwide units, not in the UK. So it's no wonder I have no idea what this is, and you don't know what it is. Go take a peek online, Sega R360. Like I said, if you know anything about it, please talk to us about it. We want to know about this kind of stuff. This is about as retro as it gets, huh, Stefan?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I may have seen this once upon a time. I may have seen one of these once upon a time.
I'm jealous. I really am. The fact that there's only 200 in the world.
Yeah.
This thing must be super expensive, even in its heyday. But now that there's only 200 ever made, and one of them's like this in the field, the price has gone up. Like.
No, I would imagine. Well, I think it's... It probably weighs like quite a bit. I'm pretty sure it says like 2,000 pounds somewhere there.
Mm-hmm.
But like that alone, if that was in Ireland where it is right now, for one of us to ship that over, it would cost so much money it wouldn't be worth it. Like even if you got it for free, it would cost you so much money to get it shipped over. You'd have to go with some crazy like, I'm just gonna stick it on someone's cargo ship if they got some space sometime and just hope that it gets here in a few months. It's like, Jesus.
It's one of those really frustrating things. Like I said, lost to history, or lost to time, uncovered.
I feel like I've seen one, man. I really
existed. Do. What?
I really do feel like I've seen one of these before. I didn't know it was that rare, so maybe I've seen something similar to it. But I feel like I've seen that specific one. Like the picture, the complete picture down below, looks super familiar.
Perhaps you saw this in your time while you were in mainland Canada.
That's what I was thinking too. Because when I was living in Ontario, I mean, well, I was living
that
in
would
Toronto.
be the place I expect you to see. Yeah,
So
I would expect you to see that.
Anytime we were ever visiting like a big mall and stuff, if there was an arcade, that's where I was. I was not going anywhere.
Well, there's more than we're talking about here about this, but this is just bizarre. I want to know more about it. Like I said, at me about this one. I want to see more about it. If you played this, or if you have any vague memories like Stefan even, that's very cool. This is not what I expected when I saw this. And I still, like I said, I don't know how to feel other than like confused and intrigued.
Now,
why 200?
Now, at the same time, more than likely, they might have only made 200 because depending on when this was made, if this was one of those games that cost like $1 to play, or like 50 cents, or because sometimes you'd have to fork up, 2 quarters or 4 quarters. That was even before we had loonies, dollar coins. So I mean, once upon a time we did have dollar bills as well. So I mean,
it looks like it was a £1 was what it was charged to play
at that one there. So which means that you're looking at like $1 to $2, really. So I mean, if that's how much it costs, there's a good chance that as a kid I was like, one go at this game or play 4 or 8 games, of other good games. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that thing.
Yeah, this is really expensive. Definitely.
I never used to try that. I don't know if you were the same way or not, but when I was a kid, like, yes, I would love to try like one of those motocross games where you actually sit on the dirt bike or whatever, but like again, it was all like, oh, it's like $1 or $1.50, and I'm like, no.
I wasn't great at punching games in arcades. I never would have played something like this. Most of what I played was sniping stuff and like hunting and racing.
So wait, did you play a lot of the Terminator game by any chance?
No, it was some generic sniping game. It was the one that I had the most access to, and it was as a teenager, and it was also a frickin' a racing thing. So I don't have much arcade experience to begin with.
Uh-huh.
So on top of that, when you talk about rare, secretive arcade stuff like this, I mean, obviously we've talked about this for almost 20 minutes already.
Yeah.
On its own, because it's just that weird.
It's an interesting thing.
See, Liz liked to play the motorcycle ones. And see, I wouldn't even try those ones because I felt like I would look silly. That is literally what I thought about those. But that's not to say anyone else shouldn't like them or anything.
Oh no, it's not that I didn't like them. It's just that, like I said, it costs so much money for one try. It's like I'd rather just go play like 4 or 5 other games rather than play just one game for like such a short period of time. Because on top of it, then you probably haven't played that game before, which means there's a good chance that you're going to play it for a minute and then you're done, and then you just lost $1.50. So at that point, it's like, or I can play a couple of games that I've never played before and then play another couple that I have, so that way I can stretch out my time instead of, alright, now I'm going to go find my mom and just fucking watch her buy shit, and I just want toys and video games.
Like I said, I totally understand that mentality, because that was the reason why I was playing that sniping one so much, is because I got more out of it for my time.
Yeah, of course.
Which is really frustrating, because you want to try stuff like this if it's again, like, this has really got me nerded out. Like I said, I'm gonna go do more research on this. 200 in the whole world. Like, I may at Sega about this. Like, literally. Alright. I think we've talked about some strange arcade history enough here.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. This is different. And I hope it gets some love of some... I don't know what they're going to do with it. Help it. So you guys want to talk about a gaming movie? Have you guys been needing a gaming movie?
Very, very nice. I forgot all about this. I'm glad that you're covering this.
I almost didn't cover it. I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I said, no, I'm going to cover this because we don't have enough retro-themed gaming-style movies. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of detail that went into this, and one of the things I'm going to give away before we get into the article, the bulk of this movie was recorded over 23 nights in 2019, I believe is what it said. And then they added a record number of special effects for an indie movie studio. So, yes, if I didn't cover this, I would be doing gaming and movies and Injustice. So, Max Reload and the Nether Blasters is the retro gaming movie you've always wanted. What? The Nether Busters? That was my first thought. But then if you go to the link at Retro Dodo, there's a really nice poster, and there's a YouTube trailer link there. Mm-hmm. And it shows the level of work they put into this. And
hopefully we don't get hit for copyright infringement here, but...
Oh, boy.
Oh, well. Okay.
It's definitely not what you'd expect. I like the way they're layering things in the trailer, and then that retro cartridge. Is that actually being played on an Atari? Like,
it looks like it. It could be a homebrew too, right?
Yeah, but the level of detail that they put into some of this stuff, yeah. Oh,
that's not Atari. Whoa!
There's some stuff.
Silent Bob?
Mm-hmm.
But is that who he is in the movie, or is he just...
he's not silent, so if he's not Silent Bob, he must be Bob. There's a lot of special effects in this movie, too, if you don't get a chance to watch this trailer. I actually really want to watch this.
Yeah, it looks decent.
A lot of the acting's going to be corny, but there's a lot of attention to details, too. This would be like the best of the B-list movies, in my mind. And knowing that, I'd probably take it a little less seriously. But anyway, I'm going to talk about some of these details more in depth, rather than letting the trailer give me some things to talk about here. So Max Reload and the Nether Blasters, finally a gaming film made by gamers for gamers that by all industry standards should never have been possible, going back to the 23 nights in 2019. That seems like a crazy recording schedule for anything, but we're gonna painstakingly produced over 2.5 years. Wow. This mixed media gaming action adventure sci-fi comedy was written, produced, and co-directed by Scott Condit and Jeremy Tremp, with the blessing of legendary retro gaming brand ColecoVision.
So they're actually playing on a ColecoVision, not an Atari.
That's why that looks...
But I don't think ColecoVision was any better looking than the Atari, really, so...
I thought they looked very similar when I saw some of them.
Yeah, like a lot of the games look very much the same.
And some of the consoles look similar as well, but we're not going to digress because that's going to lead into conversations about details of each and what makes one better than the other. It's amazing that ColecoVision said, yeah, put our name on this. This creative duo had previously produced the gaming-centric documentary Game Jam, the movie, 2018, Devolver Media, and 2017 arcade short film Show No Mercy, starring Cobra Kai's Martin Kove and Jesse Kove, set out to produce a film completely independent of Hollywood, and you might say in a way they gamed the studio system. I don't necessarily know that I want to talk about the storyline. The article is going to talk about it in 2 paragraphs, but I don't want to talk about it at all. No spoilers. No spoilers. The team is part of the spoilers.
Team is part of the spoilers. This is who the team is. No, you're spoiling it.
The part of the cast that we will spoil. Oh wait, apparently Greg Grunberg from Star Wars.
Grundle, what? Oh, Grunberg.
Hey, he was from the last 3 Star Wars movies. Joined on.
I thought you just said Grundle. That's all. That's why I was like, what? It can't be his last name. And it wasn't.
Listen, I said it wrong. So there's a couple big names attached to this, but I don't want to talk about the cast of the story too much. I just want to tell you about, like, the special effects and stuff. Where does this change over? Somehow, Max Reload manages to pack in the pixel love, and diehard gamers and fans will appreciate thoughtful elements that add to the realistic, or to the retro aesthetic. Like pixel art, cutscene transitions, retro Sunday morning cartoon styled animation flashbacks, old school gaming cartridge designs, which we already saw, and characters for the animated sequences that were produced by prominent real-life gaming artists and developers. How do you do that in this movie and not be mainstream Hollywood?
Well, with some of the actors that's there, a lot of them probably have extra backing money, especially if they're going to be quote-unquote starring in the movies as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Technically, Hollywood is still a little bit a part of it, but I know what they mean. It's that they're not going to a big Hollywood producer and having like all their special effects, and
they can still have some Hollywood ties and it not be Hollywood.
I think it's great though. We need more of that. It's the same thing as superhero movies. Honestly, I think the time has come that we can start having video game movies the same way we're having superhero movies, because I don't know if everyone else remembers how terrible the first few Spider-Man movies were, and like, you know, other older superhero movies and stuff. That's why all the older video game movies, I mean, look at Super Mario Bros., look at Double Dragon. I mean, at least you got to look at Alyssa Milano's ass in Double Dragon. You didn't get that in Mario Bros., so I mean...
That's fair.
Yeah.
Another detail that I want to discuss, which you don't hear much of this because normally this is an industry secret kind of thing in Hollywood, but they had to cut costs somewhere. And to help save costs on wardrobe, production designs and sets, Condit and Tremp reached out and presented their vision to over 20 gaming brands like Zinx, Metathreads, HyperX, Vertigear, and more, who all jumped on board and provided products and props to help realize the film.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You don't need Hollywood, man. You can literally reach out to all the... I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need that kind of stuff anymore. We can have good shit because we have all these gaming producers now, and they're already making their own products and stuff for every game that they come out with. So, I mean, yeah, it should be no problem to find, like, you know, these types of companies. HyperX, really?
Yeah, that was the surprise for me. There's even an arsenal of custom configured and heavily modified lightsaber or light blaster guns, and gaming peripherals that serve our heroes as weapons of choice to fight the evil Nether specters throughout the film. I don't know why I said saber when it's clearly blaster. Sorry, everyone. Sorry.
Think about that Star Wars now, aren't you?
Just a little.
Since it was mentioned. You're like, that guy's from Star Wars,
It was shot over the course of 23 nights in 2018, as I mentioned. The film ended up including over 550 visual effects shots, an insane feat for a studio film, let alone an independent. Many of which were stylized to harken back to 1980s era of visual effects production. Released in late 2020 in the US and Canada through MVD Entertainment on both physical collector's edition Blu-ray DVD as well as streaming services, Max Reload and the Nether Blasters inked a worldwide deal with Blyberg Entertainment to coordinate a global release of the picture, which is now primed to spread worldwide in spring/summer of 2021.
Which means we're going to be watching it on Netflix, yeah boy.
Yep, in anticipation of the worldwide release, Max Reload star and producer Greg Grunberg noted, "I could not be more excited to share the Max Reload love with the entire world. Just like how quickly the Nether spreads in the movie through the cursed game cartridge and people become hooked on it, we hope the world and especially the gaming community across all decades reacts just as favorably and have as much fun watching it as we had making it for them."
Aww. Aww.
Max Reload is available on all major streaming platforms in the US and Canada.
So
and
nice.
Is coming to viewing services and physical media worldwide in spring and summer of 2021. Visit maxreloadmovie.com for more information and detailed production diaries, behind the scenes, and more.
I'll just give you a heads up on that one, Game Hunter. Microsoft and Mojang do not own the word Nether. Otherwise, we can no longer use the word Nether region to talk about your genitals. Also, how's it going, McKay? I almost missed you there. That means that we cannot say that anymore. We'll have to be all like copyright Mojang Nether region. It's like what? Mojang does not own never mind.
Well, we doted on that a little longer than I would have liked. Also, Mojang does not own my Nether regions. Come at me, bro.
No. I doubt it. That's what I mean. Is that I doubt that they'd take issue. If they do, then I don't think that they'd ever be able to win a court case about something like that.
I just wanted to be silly about it after the fact.
Well, that's why I went silly.
You guys ever hear of any Game Boy Color games that got canceled? Because I know I didn't.
I'm sure there's plenty that got canceled, dude.
I mean, it's one of the systems that got a ton of games, like a literal ton of games. So yeah, that's totally expected, I guess. I haven't heard of any canceled ones. RPG Infinity is finally getting released. It's 20 years later, and it's getting a release. Can you believe that?
Yeah, but see, if that was Legend of Zelda that got canceled, I bet you'd remember. Hello, little bud peep.
That's also true. So the Kickstarter campaign is going to launch this June.
Which we'll probably end up covering?
Yeah. I wanted to give us kind of a heads up because it's a canceled game. I wanted to hear about it before we hear about it in this case because it's a cancel. I'll say it again, canceled Game Boy Color game. Like, it's an RPG game. There were so many released on Game Boy Color that were great. I'm sorry. I guess that was probably the problem. Anyway, I'm gonna stop geeking out and start reading.
Game Hunter, you gotta wait until June. You got like several months for have to worry about funding another Kickstarter right away.
Well, let's review some stats. He released today that since the Retro Indie Pixels podcast has returned, he's funded 3 Kickstarters. That was previous to today's podcast, so now he's committed to a 4th. I think we're doing good. Stats aside, for an unreleased Game Boy Color game, Infinity's got quite the history behind it. Developed by Phoenix Software. Never heard of that studio. Sounds kind of familiar, maybe? Never heard, kind of familiar. Between 1999 and 2001, it was developed, of course. You lost track with me there. It wasn't far off completion, but due to the Game Boy Advance's launch, got canceled due to publishing struggles? How do you get axed due to publishing struggles? There had to be so many games that were color that got ported. An unfinished ROM emerged 5 years ago, alongside a soundtrack release. Where did these things come from? Like, just the internet in general?
Dude, you'd be surprised how many prototypes and, like, unreleased games pop up all the time. Every year there's always
calling this the Techno Ocean. That's where that Sega R360 came from. It washed up from the Techno Ocean.
I'm cool with it.
Development is being restarted by Incube 8 Games, who brought on former staff from Phoenix Software to help complete it. That's an interesting choice. That makes me think they really want to get it done. The teaser trailer is here on this article. I haven't clicked it yet. I'm afraid to, because I don't want to like the idea more than I already do. I'm gonna like it more than I already do. I feel it.
You just like it because you're a handheld boy. That sounds wrong.
Yes, I like to hold my games. Like, here, look. Let me just waggle my Switch Lite in your general direction.
Waggle?
This, I'm all about this.
Waggle.
I want console power right here. Waggle, waggle.
Wiggle your waggles away. Oh.
I like the art style on this game. It's definitely Game Boy Color. And it doesn't seem like it was a small game. 50 areas, 100 items. They went really fast with some of those details, but...
Whoa!
Let's see here. Alongside a teaser trailer, publisher Retro Modding has revealed that it will release Infinity as a physical Game Boy Color cartridge.
Nice! You already had it made.
Digital ROM too. Yeah, that got my attention. I was like, wow, where's my Retro Dodo? Where you at? I need one of your products. Your highly rated products for exactly this reason. You're also going to get a digital ROM too for greater accessibility, but it doesn't say it's free, so I'm not trying to get anyone's hopes up. I just want to make sure everybody knows what the information is as of this moment. That may change when it comes to the Kickstarter, so this is kind of why I want to cover this beforehand. Retro Modding launched an official website outlining what we can expect from gameplay. An ancient nameless evil awaits. Nope, it stirs. Oh my god. Can I just start over?
Yeah!
Ancient nameless evil stirs beneath the earth. twisting the land and its people alike with its corrupting force.
Fucking
Rival
lavos.
nations careen toward war as a shadowy figure arms them both with unholy weapons of immense power. Ooh, they're unholy. You have my attention. It just sounds interesting. A disgraced knight is called upon to overcome the centuries-old pain that divides these peoples. His own grief and malevolent forces fanning the flames of hate. This epic tale frames a role-playing game with a unique tactical battle system, a detailed world with over 50 explorable areas, more than 100 items, and beautiful 8-bit graphics, all to immerse you into the world of infinity.
And beyond.
The Game Boy has witnessed quite a resurgence in recent times, ranging from limited run reprints to fellow Kickstarter project The Shapeshifter. We're curious to see how Infinity shapes up, and we'll keep you informed when the campaign goes live. Indeed, you took the words right out of our mouth, Nintendo Life.
I'm pretty sure we covered the Shapeshifter, actually.
Yeah, I thought that sounded familiar. But it will not be me covering this game next time. It will be OWG.
It's a good chance.
Oh, you know, we were just talking about Game Boy. Except it was Advance. Well, do you know how I said the hardware thing is kind of a thing for me? Apparently, I'm a hardware geek, and this article goes to sort of help prove that. Hyperkin explains how the Retro N SQ is bringing the Game Boy to your living room. And this article has been updated. Pre-orders have gone live on Amazon.
Okay.
Sorry,
strange that Hyperkin is doing that. Yeah, I'm also enjoying music. I'm surprised that Hyperkin is actually... Oh, wait! Did Hyperkin always do the Retron? Maybe I'm an idiot and just didn't realize. Okay. I thought Hyperkin just did mostly controllers. Oh, my bad. So if they do the Retron, then yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, just the concept of this is pretty cool. Like, if you look at the picture, the controller is nice. The system is a cube, which you'd kind of expect from something called Squared, although it says Junior on it and not SQ.
Yeah. So it's more like Retron Junior.
Yeah.
Because it's just doing the Game Boy. But at the same time, it's like... I mean, sure, that's nice and all, but I mean, if you already have a Super Nintendo, you just need a Super Game Boy.
Yeah.
If you're a speedrunner, just get a Super Game Boy 2. You're good to go.
Right? I'm going to tell you how much this is.
2,000.
It plays the entire Game Boy library on your HD TV. That's the other thing it does. Oh no, it's formerly known as Retron Junior. They're calling it Squared now or whatever. I'm gonna go look at this on Amazon. I need more details. Allowance.
Details
Retron
allowance.
SQ.
Come on, Mom, it's this week's details allowance. I need it.
Holy. They want $75 for this, but it's a Prime thing. This is actually really cheap. You want to know what you're going to get for this? It upscales to 720. It'll take 4.3 to 16:9. It'll give you one wired USB Scout controller, which is... It's a SNES controller, but USB. Apparently it's got a memory card slot for firmware updates, a 3-foot HD cable.
HG or HD?
HD. A 6-foot Type-C cable with AC adapter. This is pretty cheap for some of the things that we've talked about previously. I don't know if most people want a console experience for their mobile gaming, but it says it's covering Game Boy Color, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance. So if you don't want to pay for the more expensive handheld versions, this is not a terrible alternative. This is something. Again, you lose your portability, but what you're gaining is the entire library on a system that you could replace or get a protection plan on. That'll come to your door for $75 with Amazon Prime. I'm not going to talk about this anymore.
Hey, listen, a lot of people buy the Retrons, so it wouldn't be the first time that people go and buy them, believe me. There's always a market for this kind of stuff. People always want to buy that stuff. They do. Yeah, exactly. That's the best way that they can market it. Is 3 gaming libraries being able to be played on one system, and it doesn't necessarily have to be handheld, but the system is so small that it's very portable. Like, if I'm running over Steve's place, I'm just going to take the fucking Retron SQ, because why not? It's literally like 5 seconds.
Oh, and
I'm sure he has an HD cable. I'm going to bring my games in the system. He's got a controller. He's got all the peripherals. I'm just bringing the system and the games I want to bring. Yep.
Can you imagine?
It'd be great. Well, I mean, anyone who has a Game Boy collection at all, like, again, I collect as many different games as I possibly can and everything, so I don't have a huge Game Boy collection, but I mean, even with what I got, I'd be delighted to have one of those.
It's in the right kind of price range, I gotta say.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, like I said, because you're losing your mobile portability as far as playing the game portably, but that console still can go a lot of places. So, pros and cons noted. I'm super hyped for this product. I might actually find myself getting one in the near future and getting one of those EverDrives for it. Shh, don't tell.
Don't go making me jealous.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, no, we can't talk about this anymore. It's too exciting. You ever have old games from your SNES library that don't have boxes and you're like, I need a shady repro or a shoebox. Do you need a third option? I'm here for you with your third option. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. This is another one of those things we can't cover long, so I'm going to preface it with it's not perfect. But you can store your SNES games in style with these rather fetching book-like cases. The SNES, what a machine, huh? Home to some of the greatest video games of all time. This legendary 16-bit console still gets plenty of action, G-Ross, at the Nintendo Life office. But after more than 30 years, we have to admit that many of the games we load up are loose carts. Largely because SNES software packaging is made of cardboard and isn't as resilient as we'd like. Dude, I remember my N64 boxes. I'd accidentally rip them and just throw them away because they were paper. So I can't imagine what a SNES box would be like. It was probably just as bad.
No. You gotta remember, none of the boxes were really made to be sturdy. Like, the only real game producer that made sturdy boxes was Sega. Sega had those nice hard shell boxes, but at the same time, I'm sure it did not. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't cheap to do those. But at the same time, like, then all they had to do was print off a little like piece of paper with the game stuff on it. It wasn't like it was printed onto the plastic like Nintendo had to do with all of their games. So I mean, who knows? It might have been cheaper that way. But both had their drawbacks, and both had their good things about them. So I mean, it all depends, really. Personally, I did also prefer the Sega ones because, well, like you said, you didn't break them. You didn't accidentally tear the surface stuff.
Oh, and if you did tear that plastic, you didn't want to throw it away. You didn't have to tape it either, because the integrity of the case is still mostly intact. I had a few that got torn. I may have been vigorous with my copy of...
so rough!
With, the Pirates of Darkwater. That's the one. So, you know, I like the hard cases, and I acknowledge they can get broken, though. So, this is... I wish we had more of this stuff for other things before I get further into the article. I want to say these are nice cardboard boxes, because the price point is going to get you. There's not a lot to talk about here. It's a couple cardboard boxes. So I'll warn you now, the price point might hurt you if you have a lot of SNES games you want to box. They've got a lot of loose carts knocking around at Nintendo Life. Again, G-Ross. They store in a unglamorous shoebox. Oh, they're the dirty shoebox people. I'm sorry, Nintendo Life. I have to call you out.
Dirty shoebox people. Jesus.
These SNES games deserve more love than this. That's where Book 4 Games saves their behinds. This new concept is designed to liberate your beloved carts from their lackluster storage prison and allow them to be filed away in a more market fashion. Available in 4 different designs. There's
Do it again.
That time I was looking at something and it got me. No, so one of them has a Capcom symbol, one of them has a Square Enix symbol, one of them's got a Nintendo symbol, one's got KO on it. Those are one of the things I want to point out, because there are different boxes and different designs, and those are one of the details that they're not going to point out. They call this precision gaming storage, and it will be a dream come true for collectors who possess a bunch of boxless games. The range covers SNES, NA, EU, and Super Famicom, which is Japan. It's literally the entire library of SNES, from my understanding. I didn't realize this when I previously read the article, but it would appear that there are plans afoot to release similar products for the Game Boy. Is this the year of the Game Boy?
Maybe. But I will unfortunately burst your bubble. A lot of collectors already realize that you can get stuff like this. There's many outlets, especially on eBay, where you can get a lot of these type of things. Now, not neat like these because these actually look like books. They stand up nice. They take up a lot more room, though. So now you're looking at what you would normally stack if you stacked your SNES boxes together, you could basically get 2 boxes in the place of one of these. That's what it looks like. So if that's the case, you're giving up space as well. But I do like the concept. I do like that they look like books and stuff. But there are other options besides this as well. And you can get hard plastic ones like the Sega Genesis ones, but for Nintendo and Super Nintendo. And that's not only for that, it's for a bunch of different systems.
That's right. I do want to point out the other 2 problems with this specific product type. So there's one, before I get into that, there's another thing that strikes me as important to talk about here. It's biodegradable. We make so much plastic stuff. You might not want to keep these cases forever. When you pass them on, someone might have a different idea of how they want to store them. So it might be nice to have a biodegradable format. But these are coming from a place online called PlayAsia, which I don't think I've ever used before. And they're from $24 US to $29 US. So you're giving up space, they're pricey, the alternatives are less glamorous, and take up less space. So there's your pros and cons. Man, we're doing a lot of pros and cons tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving it. I like these products. If I had SNES games, I might use them, depending on how many I had and which ones I wanted to have shelved and which ones I kind of wanted to put away. You know.
Pleasure.
It is strange. It's kind of unexpected that it's coming from Play Asia. I don't think I've heard of that place before. Hey guys, I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do this. I'm sorry, I have to. We talked about Polymega last time. We're gonna talk about it again.
Ooh, production.
Why are we talking about it again? Because the release is still on track despite production problems, including a business license suspension getting resolved. Are they mid-product production getting a license suspension? I can't even get into this article. I pulled this up and I was like, I don't want to know. I like the Polymega. I know it's going to be expensive. We've talked about the pros and cons.
Yeah.
What is going on here? Why does this have to have another problem? You know?
Well, see, that's the thing when you're using copyrighted material such as these games. But technically, it's not really copyrighted. But I mean, I don't know.
The hardware that they're representing as theirs is copyrighted. Well, I know that's a bummer. I put it that way, and it's like the aha moment. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be that guy. What a roller coaster ride the Polymega has been. I was just talking about this, Mr. Damian McFerrin. When it was first announced, the excitement was palpable. Here was an all-in-one solution for retro fans, which could allow them to harness their existing collection of games and play them with modern creature comforts, such as save states, patches, and HD output. Such an epic adventure was always going to be prone to some delays. But Polymega has been pushed back more than once, with its latest tentative release window being February. Yes, the month just gone. The machine has missed this revised release window, with reports from Japan suggesting that production has been delayed by the ongoing civil unrest in Myanmar. NK Trading Co. Ltd., the Japanese distributor of the system, has stated that the satisfactory supply cannot be provided. Or that satisfactory supply cannot be provided. It is also citing the COVID-19 pandemic as a contributing factor. NK Trading is aiming for a shipment within the year. It is not known if this refers to the calendar year or the financial year, the latter of which ends at the start of April. But it notes that it is at present difficult to predict an accurate schedule. It was reported that this production delay is also believed to impact North America and European orders. We contacted Playmaji for comment, and the company confirmed Japanese report. Polymega is still shipping, but it's coming out slower than expected from our Myanmar factory due to protests that are happening. The modules and controllers are made in China, while the console is assembled in Myanmar. The time is changing daily, which is why we haven't announced anything concrete yet. We are still on track to ship everything here over the next few weeks. Drama over? Not quite. Today it came to light that Playmaji had its business license suspended in the state of California, where it is based. So there's a tweet here from someone I'm not going to name. They're going to attempt to get a refund on their Polymega pre-order. The company's business license has now been suspended in California, so I have no confidence this thing will ever reach me. I think that's not the right answer. You think you need to wait for the sky to fall in this case, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So is the sky falling in the world of Polymega? Well, I kind of just led into you there, a little article writer. It's not quite falling, and that's what I'm saying. Playmaji told us the following. There was some kind of issue with our last tax payment in 2020 related to an old credit card we had on file. We are paying a penalty for it, and our accountant is resolving it now. Also, it's worth noting that Playmaji LLC is just one of our corporations. We have multiple, so the tax suspension is just for California. Someone was thinking ahead when they started this company. I was like, yes, this sounds so good. I was like, this guy, whoever this anonymous tweeter is, which of course for a lot of us in the live audience is not anonymous, but I'm not doing the thing. We were invited to join the system's beta test last year and were granted access to a pre-production variant of the system. Polymega absolutely delivers on its promise to be an all-in-one retro solution. So it's a shame that its launch has been impacted in this fashion. Impacted? It's more been flattened, but they said they're ready to ship them all out, so really they just need to get the units from China to their final production facility where they take those electronics and put them in the modules. Like, it's gonna happen. Just calm down, guys. Like, I don't know why some anonymous tweeter would be like that. Earlier this year, it was announced that thousands of people who had pre-ordered via North American retailer Walmart would need to place fresh orders direct to Playmaji. Walmart had apparently gone silent on the company. That's weird. And that's just where the article ends? Why do you end the article like this?
I have a feeling that Nintendo probably went to Walmart and said, hey, you guys are selling Switches and stuff. Stop.
You can't sell this too. That's a little cowardly. They can go a lot of places and do a lot of things, but I don't think they're going to stop this Polymega release. I think if these production units exist, they're going to get into people's hands.
Well, the other thing is that you can't stop hardware. I mean, technically, you can make a Nintendo, put it in. Well, I mean, that's what Retron are pretty much. You can take a Nintendo and put a new housing on it and change a board or two so it's an updated board and not the exact same one that was used back in the day. Maybe change a few things so that the boards inside are actually smaller. And then therefore, boom, you can that's a new hardware. You can't say that that's yours because Nintendo didn't make that. Nintendo didn't use, these quote-unquote X boards or use, these, X equipment inside of it or, electronics inside of it that, wasn't available back in the day because it just simply wasn't. So, I mean, and once it comes to that, it's like, you can't just claim that, like, that new piece of equipment is now like, oh, well, that's a Nintendo. No, it's not. It emulates what a Nintendo does.
I was going to say, because of the module system, that is not exactly what a Genesis was. That's not exactly a SNES. And when it connects to that system, it does not do the same electrical functionality as it would have if it was just a SNES. There's so much else going on there that it's its own product. Well, it may be based off of other concepts, but it puts them together in such a new and different way that anyone trying to stop it is just salty.
I mean, why isn't the production of NES carts and Genesis carts halted? Why can you still get them? Even though they're empty shells, why can you still get them? Because Nintendo and them didn't probably own the actual shells. They probably just own the printed sticker that's on there. So...
Well, if you're owning a company, what's the easy thing to do? Go to someone and say, hey, can you make a shell to put XYZ hardware in? They make you your shell. You bring it home. You put your electronics in it. Boom, done. You didn't have to worry about any of that except for paying for the product.
Because, I mean, I think once you get to the point of where you're using hey, Nintendo, I already bought this game 20 years ago, 25 years ago, so why are you getting butthurt for it? I've already paid you for this game. Why are you trying to make somebody else pay for it? On top of it, like, well, this company that makes this system, why should they have to pay for a game that I already have? It doesn't make sense.
They're always going to see a new release as a new branding of that copyright, and therefore everything related to it is theirs, which is a little assumptive of a lot of copyrights, but you see it happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, like I said, I don't think someone like Nintendo is going to be able to shut this down if, say, they did go to someone like Walmart and were like, you're not selling my Nintendo product alongside that. Well, we'll see what happens with the Polymega. I told you we'd keep track of it. We're keeping track of it. I'm just going to sit here for a second and enjoy the Loop Hero. Wonder what the heck is going on with retro versus big box gaming there. Speaking of big box gaming, excuse me, Playing with Power, the Nintendo story, is a fun documentary with some flaws. When you think of video games, the very first thing that comes to your mind is Nintendo. Minutes in, Tommy Tallarico sums it up perfectly. Anyone who's ever heard relatives calling out a random console, the Nintendo can attest to this statement. I'm not sure about this article here, the way that's written.
Well, I know exactly. I think you might have an issue with reading it, because I know how they're trying to go about saying it. It's just fucking worded weird. But yeah, I don't know.
They're trying to talk about relatives or people they know calling out about game consoles.
Well, basically, if you had a Nintendo and then you had a Sega Genesis later, they probably grew up just hearing you say, I'm playing my Nintendo, and get out that fucking Nintendo, get outside, and you're like, what the fuck is a Tendo? There's a nin at the start of that. Like, there's people back home who've literally done that. I grew up hearing that. Turn off that fucking Tendo, and I'm like, that's not what it is. And then at the same time, once you get this new console later, they're so used to calling it Nintendo, they're all like, we're always playing that Nintendo. It's like, nah, this is Sega Genesis. Well, whatever. They always just call it Nintendo because that's what they're used to.
Oh my, okay. So you've experienced this and I have not.
Yeah.
I always get told to stop playing video games. It was always generic, but Nintendo's history is well recorded, but for all the impact it has made, it's strange that we haven't seen more documentaries focus on its history. Having previously directed video games, the movie, director Jeremy Sneed has taken aim with his latest project, Playing with Power, the Nintendo story. Are we playing with the Power Glove? Are we doing Monka TOS things? Because this sounds like Monka TOS things.
It sounds like Todd Solid.
See, it's not just me. Borrowing its name from Nintendo's famous marketing line, Playing with Power, has just launched through Crackle as a free 5-part documentary series. By taking a US-centric approach, die-hard Nintendo fans will find it surprisingly lacking in places, but it's an entertaining watch nonetheless. Oh, the music just kicked up. Hold on. Sorry, it's a good soundtrack. I can't.
Listen to the soundtrack in your own time, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Outside of interviews, events are illustrated with archived news footage where that's available or simply didn't exist. Sneed uses diorama sets instead, making for a colorful presentation. We've got a strong lineup of industry veterans weighing in here, and representing Nintendo is mostly former Nintendo of America staff, including Reggie Fils-Aimé, Howard Phillips, Ron Judy, Don James, and Perrin Kaplan. Kaplan? Oh. It's certainly not a puff piece, and keeping it balanced, we've also got head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, Gears of War designer, Cliff Blazensky, former Sega of America president Tom Kalinske, Atari co-founder Nolan Bushnell, EA founder Trip Hawkins,
Jesus,
Digital Eclipse editor, editorial director, and former games journalist Chris Kohler, to name just a few. Wow, that is a lot of different aspects, or perspectives, excuse me. Nintendo's influence in gaming cannot be understated. We said that earlier, that over the decades its actions have helped shape the destinies of industry competitors, meaning these people offer some valuable insights on both sides. Playing with Power is not a completely exhaustive history. It's missing a few aspects, which feel strangely overlooked, but it offers a good introduction. Unfortunately, the miniseries peaks early within the first 2 episodes, which both come in at around 70 minutes. Episode 1 takes us back to the very start in Kyoto in 1889, with Western playing cards outlawed at the time. It showcases Fusajiro Yamuchi's early leadership before passing the company down to his son-in-law, Sekiryo Kaneda. It mostly skips Kaneda's contributions, quickly moves onto his grandson instead, the now legendary Hiroshi Yamauchi. Episode 1 offers an informative look at Yamauchi's attempted expansion of Nintendo outside of playing cards. Including what?
They done a bunch of weird shit, like, well, Hanafuda playing cards was the big thing, but one of the weirdest things that I know Nintendo actually dipped their foot in was fucking boats. like an actual, like, rescue craft, or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was like a more of a speedy boat as opposed to like a barge or something. But anyways,
right. That's when you talk about these things, including early Disney deals, taxis, and those infamous love hotels.
What?
Hold up, Nintendo had love hotels. Can confirm there will be Nintendo character love hotels in the future. I will die on this hill. Anyway, moving on. I'm sorry. I did not expect to hear Nintendo love hotels. I'm sorry. I think we'll be okay. Having found success within the toy market, it sets the scene well, leading into their earliest home gaming efforts. When they began distributing the Magnavox Odyssey in Japan. Wait, Nintendo distributed a Magnavox property? Oh my god, okay.
Trippy, right?
What is going on? This 3 sentences may have broken my entire life.
And apparently Jeremy knew all about the love hotels. Of course. Jeremy and his porn. God.
Oh my god. Okay. Soon enough, we're onto the arcade scene, talking about Radar Scope's failure paved the way to Donkey Kong's success with some delightful insights from Howard Phillips and Ron Judy. It paints an engaging look at Nintendo of America's Creation 2, going into detail about Minoru Arakawa and Universal Studios' failed lawsuit against Nintendo. What?
Right.
The latter sentiment doesn't get a lot of coverage, which apparently you know about it, Stefan.
What's up?
John Kirby's efforts in winning the case. Universal failed a lawsuit against Nintendo.
Why would I know about that?
I don't know. It sounded like you did there for a second.
No, actually, thinking about on the love hotels, I think I remember because I remember something about hearing something about how, like, back in the day, it wasn't. They were trying to get into a lot of shady stuff or something, or I can't remember what it was. Or, anyways, continue.
It ends by leading towards the video game crash of 1983, with Nolan Bushnell being quite candid about Atari's misfortunes, calling it suicide, not homicide. He specifically singles out Pac-Man and E.T., like many before him, though this segment curiously omits the New Mexico landfill, which of course it does, because that's probably his thing and he doesn't want anyone knowing that's his thing.
Nah, I would say it's because that everyone thought that the landfill was going to be just nothing but ET carts and, like, you know, like millions of carts. It wasn't that many carts, and it was a bunch of other shit too. It wasn't just ET. It was a bunch of other games as well. I think it was just a place that was, like, closing down or something, or like a warehouse that was shut down. But anyways,
that's fair. That segues nicely into episode 2 and 3, which initially details Nintendo's earlier efforts, like Game & Watch and Gunpei's Yokoi's contributions. The NES's struggle to find distributors in the wake of that crash before dominating the early area, touching upon the Nintendo fan club news and their gameplay consolers. Yeah. Atari's legacy is thrust into the spotlight again, showing Nintendo's battle with quality control and the firm's reputation as being difficult to work with, a sentiment backed strongly by Ron Judy before leading into the console wars. Wow. I gotta stop here, because if Nintendo is still difficult to work with, I want to know what Game Freak is saying about that, especially considering they're now moved in with Nintendo. I need to hear about modern examples of this all of a sudden. By bringing in Tom Kalinske, I apologize for the additional pause there. Playing with Power offers some genuinely interesting insight about Sega openly challenging Nintendo's supremacy. By creating a rivalry through adverts, Kalinske reveals that Arakawa would actively avoid him at conventions, and there's a fine effort in painting this rivalry between the two companies. Unfortunately, for such a critical period in Nintendo's history, SNED doesn't focus that heavily on the 16-bit era itself. Bafflingly, it ignores criticism around Nintendo's censorship policies, which contributed to the ESRB's creation. Yay, ESRB. I had to, I'm sorry. We get a look at landmark games like Sonic the Hedgehog and Donkey Kong Country, and then quickly move on to the emergent challenge from Sony's PlayStation, touching upon the Super Nintendo CD-ROM project with Philips and Sony.
Oh,
Excuse me?
Yeah. They also had a disk drive for the N64.
I think I remember hearing about that.
It's like the 64DD or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, see, and this is going to talk about something else that I don't know about. This whole article and this whole documentary is it hits on things that I'm unaware of. Outside of brief mention, SNED almost entirely skips over the Virtual Boy's failure too and goes right towards the N64. Was the Virtual Boy a handheld?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, no, I'm just asking in general.
Virtual Boy was a weird thing. It was supposed to be able to go over your head with the red and black looking games and stuff. But it had a weird dock thing that, like, only stood up like a foot. So I think they really wanted you to do it was lay it on a counter or a table in front of you and, like, lean into it and look into it. But, like, it just, a lot of the stuff around the Virtual Boy was just terribly made. It wasn't comfortable. It was too heavy. It was, the little docking stand thing that they had there for you to use was just not built properly.
All right. It sounds vaguely familiar in obviously other products that we've seen. It's at the N64 point in the story where it offers a more solid focus on Shigeru Miyamoto's contributions, who you'd think would receive a lot more focus than he gets. In this moment, we can clearly see the passionate man who brought us Super Mario 64, having briefly detailed his history in Episode 1, but it doesn't showcase his wider legacy, and most games are only given a brief focus. It's here where we find Sneed's event timeline to get a bit strange, as Episode 3 ends with a 6th generation introduction, before immediately looping back to N64 at the start of Episode 4. Sounds like somebody was taking too much of the documentary drugs. I'm going to talk just a little bit more about this. I'm going to read one more paragraph and then we're going to move on. I'm taking a little more time on this than I intended to. Kind of wanted to mention it, read through the article and be like, hey, you guys should go check this out. But we're going into Pokemon's enormous impact and Nintendo's choice to continue using cartridges over discs. There's a critical outlook here at how the PlayStation succeeded by comparison. By the time we get back to the 6th gen, we're a third of the way into this episode, and suddenly we're also getting looks at the 3DO and 32X. Considering Trip Hawkins also helped create it with Panasonic, it's as out of place as it might sound, but the framing was certainly questionable. Even more so when you realize the Game Boy Advance gets little screen time either. Most questionably is how Playing with Power barely acknowledges Satoru Iwata, a man so pivotal to Nintendo's modern history that excluding him is borderline outrageous. And this is where I'm going to stop, because at a certain point this becomes more opinion than talking about this. There's maybe 5 more paragraphs for this. Like I said, I didn't want to talk about it forever to begin with, but it's hard to cover a company like Nintendo. Of course there's going to be flaws. I bet someone on someone on YouTube probably did a better job than this. But it's probably worth a look at anyway, just to see some of these industry insiders talk about things. Playing with Power. A fun documentary with a few critical flaws. What's that?
So I'd definitely watch it.
You gotta at least watch it, regardless of how critical the writer was.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be the last of my Nintendo life stuff here. Alright, Loop Heroes distracting me. No more music.
Speaking of which, I need to just waiting on there we go. Just restarting over to the soundtrack again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So we're moving on to my TIG Source Forum games this week, and I had a few. There's a couple interesting games here, so I want to get right into it. Eyes of the Killer, Immersive Theater. Greetings. I read this post that the Eyes of the Killer are shining out now. Oh, I write to post that the eyes. I'm sorry. This is a short new horror game set in a cryptic and murderous immersive theater performance. Who is Prison Man? And what does he want? Who is staring from behind the curtains? What does immersion mean anyway? And can you escape alive if you find out? This is the latest in the Killer of the Killer series, available for free over here on GameJolt. So it's a 44 megabyte, 64-bit download. Let's see here. The residents of the city are drafted one by one. into a new play. It's the hit of the season, and applause rings out night after night. But why do all the people that come to see it disappear? What does immersive theater mean? And will BB survive to tell anybody else? Move with arrow keys or WASD. Use enter to confirm when prompted. Made with Unity and Doodle Studio 95.
Doodle?
Soundtrack by Tommy Tone and a mystery play by A. Degen. Hashtag horror, hashtag cartoon, hashtag comedy, hashtag theater. I'm over on Game Jolts, if you were curious. So the pictures here that they give us, it's an oddly flat 3D world, and we appear to be a small, yellow-ish young lady with bright pinkish magenta hair. And probably not normally up my alley, but it definitely looks different, and it's part of a free series of horror games. So I thought I would mention this one. This looks interesting and different.
In the last picture, that one guy saying,
yeah, you weren't supposed to come in his room. I mean, clearly.
ew.
I'm sorry. This game really didn't have much substance, so we're not going to talk about it too long. It's free. Go check it out. Let me know if you like it. You can at me.
At 67Cyrus on Twitter.
This is true. We got a couple more games here, and none of them we're going to be able to talk as much as I'd like about, but that's okay. It's some pretty simple games here. This next one, I think some people might be very interested in. I know this kind of gameplay struck me as different for sure, but Spellbeats, it's been announced as a demo on Steam. If you look at the video, it's a spellcaster with rhythm. So you're parry and dashing with your melee attacks, and rhythmically casting magical spells. I didn't really understand the gameplay when I looked at the GIF. There was a point that looked like you were trying to do stuff, but the enemy wasn't allowing you to. But the concept of the game, I think, is quite interesting. And like I said, I guess not like I said, kind of unique. I don't think I know of many games that have spellcasting mixed with 3D Dark Souls-esque kind of I need to dodge things. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody likes this game.
It looks like a rhythm type game.
Yeah, well, it says right there, with rhythm.
Yeah.
While rhythmically casting. So if you don't have timing, you're not going to cast the spells, which for someone like me maybe not be as much fun.
You probably won't chain them as much, I'd say, more than anything else.
Yeah, I would probably rather watch someone else play this, because you can indeed see chaining mechanics, and that looks like it would be fun to watch if someone really knew what they were doing. Might see more of this game in the future. Might see other things like this. I don't know. Beat games in general aren't going to be my main thing to cover, and if it's nothing special, we're not going to see it. This is kind of the reason why we see this one. Like I said, I don't think I've seen anything with Dark Souls-esque. You got to dodge and rhythm game to do damage. Okay. Maybe I'm thinking about it a bit too much there. Just look at the trailer if you're in the live chat. If not, head on over to Steam. Spellbeats is there. You can check it out for yourself. Now, I don't normally go looking for Android games, but I did find another one.
Oh, okay, this I can understand. This is like 3D stunt racer that used to be on PC and stuff. That shit used to be fun.
I really like the art style from the pictures that they show us. It kind of reminds me of Reboot. Yeah, see, I hoped you would see it. You see it, and I'm like, yeah, I want people to see this. So this game was originally released in 2019, but they've added the ability to improve your car. They've added lap times, more overcome springboards, evade from kick of a hammer, avoid obstacles, pass the ring of death, and they added additional tracks was their last posts. So they basically took Racing Stunts by Car, which I think is a working title. I can't get to the Android app on my computer, so I can't really confirm that for you. That's just what it's listed as here. It started out as a basic stunt game with one map, and then they added the customization, the ability to set lap times. So like, they gave you a basic game, and it sat like that for a year, and then on the 9th of this year, they basically made it a full kind of arcadey vehicle experience with that very Reboot kind of visual aesthetic style. I'm not super happy that this is on Android, but when I saw that art style, I really need to share this with people, you know? I hope somebody plays this. I hope somebody out there enjoys this and tells us about it, because for a mobile game, it looks awfully a lot like some of the basic kind of arcadey sports racing games that I played, maybe on the PlayStation 2 and such. But yeah, no, that's kind of cool. I like it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing a new 3D stun effects game. That would be fun.
Yeah. I think we were hearing about a certain... O-Dubs was telling me about someone he might want to get playing Android games, and when I saw this, I felt like this might be right up that person's alley.
It actually very much would be. It'd be Liz's oldest son. And I think he likes playing games like... I think he's doing this one now where you're driving a bus or something, so if I can get a copy of this, he's probably going to love that.
That's cool. I don't know if it's free or not, but you might want to be careful because it looks like there's in-app purchases. I can't tell, though, from all the images we're seeing there. I just want to make sure I don't get someone in trouble.
Nah, but if it's with the tablet, then he can't really make purchases because he'd have to have an actual credit card.
Point taken.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I found another sports game. You might want to watch the ad for this one, or the preview, excuse me. So, now that our coming NBA game, Ultimate Rivals: The Court, is officially announced, we are able to share. BitFry is a 75-plus person game studio in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, disrupting the arcade sports video game category. Ultimate Rivals: The Court is an action-packed basketball sports arcade game bringing 60-plus superstar athletes together in a digital world of the near future to go head-to-head on the court. First time ever, athletes from all the leagues compete against each other in a sports video game, including NHL, NBA, Women's NBA, NFL, Men's League Baseball, and U.S. Women's National Soccer Team players. Future posts will be works in progress and will be showing assets and developments as we lead to our 2021 Q3 launch on Steam. The follow-up to last year's revolutionary Ultimate Rivals, The Rink, currently on Apple Arcade, takes the action from the ice to the court as the legendary competitors across hockey, basketball, football, baseball, and soccer unite in the first ever officially licensed video game franchise to feature this massive collection of cross-branded sports talent. Game Informer says, in a world without NBA Jam games, I'm hoping Ultimate Rivals, the port, could pick up the torch and set fire to this genre again. Sorry. However, our favorite quote about the game is from NBA Jams and our very own Tim Kitzrow, who tweeted, "Come take a wild ride with me, cause at Bitfry Games, at Ultimate Rivals, is about to blow up the whole funkadelic mothership game world. The more junk in the trunk, the more funk in the dunk. And they got some serious junk in their trunk." About the game, set in a digital world of the near future, Ultimate Rivals TM to Court is the first basketball experience to give fans the ability to play as their favorite athletes wherever and however they choose. Play 3-on-3 arcade action basketball with tons of above-the-rim acrobatics. Choose your team, lace up your kicks, and then pass, block, shoot, and score in ways you've always imagined. What is this, Rocket League for basketball?
Rocket League already has basketball, though.
Wait, okay, for humans. 60 plus stars. Team up your favorite athletes. The concept of this is ridiculous. This is one of those posts that there's more information here that I could ever go over. I really wanted to play the video and talk about some of this to a certain degree, but they keep going over certain details. So, like, I don't know, 40% of that is going to get kind of run over here. But that being said, I still think it's a cool idea. They said quarter 3 2021 or 2022. Where was that? Quarter 3 2021. So if you need an arcade basketball experience with popular names attached, that right there, that is your game. I just haven't seen many arcade basketball games. That was the part that got me on that. But they really want to throw that 60 plus superstars out there. So I'm going to brand it as they're branding it. Yeah. I guess that's almost everything this week. So have you guys been enjoying that Loop Hero soundtrack? I'm asking no one. I know it's a terrible thing. I know Mr. O-Dubs has.
I've been enjoying it. I have it down low in the background so that you've been at the podcast before. I usually keep the... Mm-hmm. You hear nothing.
Well.
Stop talking for a second, Steve. You should be able to hear the music fairly good. Maybe I just didn't have it up enough. Anyways.
Speaking of Loop Hero, the wonderful Loop Hero hits 500,000 sold in a week. Good planning. So we're over here at Eurogamer. I wanted to find a place that wasn't the Steam page for this. This is a wonderful role-playing game. Loop Hero has hit 500,000 copies sold in a week. Loop Hero has an average user playtime of 12 hours. So this is not a long game, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about with this particular game is it's not designed to be terribly long, but if you listen to the music and we delve into some of these gameplay aspects, they don't want it to be a long game. They want you to play through this a lot. They really want you to get your this game is $14 USD normally. It's on sale right now, 15% off, so it's like 12 and some change. They really want you to get your money's worth. This soundtrack is also the fastest selling in publisher Devolver Digital's history. So that was one of the reasons why I was really excited about this. This game, while it's really small and very compact, it blew up on Twitch. Most people are done with it now, and all the big names aren't playing it anymore. But there were like 5 days straight that everyone was playing some Loop Hero in their daily stream. This game was huge, and the developer said, "Thank you for all your support and excitement for Loop Hero from all of us at Four Quarters," which Four Quarters is a couple Russian guys in St. Petersburg. I went and looked this up. Just a couple guys making games. Devolver saw it and they picked it up, obviously. The music is great. The art style is great. There's roguelike RPG mechanics, but the thing that this article really isn't going to talk about much is the loop. And it's a real simple circle-esque path that your character is walking around on autonomously. And there's a campground on this loop which will restore you. And so you get cards and items every time you kill something. Your battles are also fully autonomous. So you're building up to try and beat a chapter boss or the end game boss, because like I said, it's not very long. It's a real simple game that you build your board, you build your character, but really for the most part you're jamming out to some music and letting the game play you're trying to DM a successful D&D campaign is what this comes out to. I really like this game. I want to play it so stupid bad that I went and found out there are actually legitimate free downloads for this, but I didn't do it. I couldn't. I was like, no, I want to pay for this game. That's about it for my spotlight. I mean, if you want to take a look at the video, you can. It's a 45-second one. Mm-hmm. Get a peek at that little loop there. Maybe you watched it already.
We did watch it already.
I wasn't looking. But yeah, very simple gameplay. They're not trying to do anything crazy. The story's not super complex. The art style is really good though, and the music is really good. The simple mechanics go a long way for a fun game. Yeah, that's gonna do it for me this week. That was the last thing on the list, and yeah, I hope some of you go out there and try Loop Hero and tell me what you think.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Alright, well, thank you for all the good stuff, Mr. Steve.
Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah, we did. We ran a little long on that, though. That's my only...
Yeah, I dragged on my second article a little bit, and that just kind of tripped me up the rest of the way. I'm sorry.
So I might have to speed through some of my stuff, just because, well, I don't want this to be a 4-hour podcast. We never do. We try to keep it under 3 hours as best we can, but... Anyway, so we're going to start, obviously, with what everyone loves to hear, the best of Steam. And, we are starting with a big sucker tonight. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. Anybody else excited?
It's on Steam?
Yeah. Coming soon from Tribute Games, Inc. Shredder's Revenge reunites Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael as they kick shell in a beautifully realized beat-em-up. Indie beat-em-up multiplayer side-scroller. Oh, did you hear that? Multiplayer. Online co-op. Online co-op. I'm adding it to wishlist immediately. So, let's watch that trailer.
Now.
I full screened by mistake. My bad. There we go.
Oh, if that's the art style of the gameplay, I will literally never take my hands out from under the desk again. Please tell me that's the art style of the gameplay. Are we playing the comic book? They were pretty close.
What?
So. I want to see gameplay.
Whoa! I wonder if they're going to include some of the other... Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, they're including some of the villains that they didn't really show in some of the other games. Like, I'm pretty sure the big robot dude, if I'm not mistaken, that should be Chrome Dome. I had the figure.
Oh, there's the gameplay.
Oh, here we go. Oh, wow.
Oh.
This reminds me of, who's the people who make Punch Club and stuff?
Lazy Bear.
It reminds me of the Lazy Bear graphics a lot, and that's welcome.
Holy shit! So we're gonna play this someday.
Huh.
This is
yeah, 100%, 100%.
There is no.
I'm literally going to go and see if I can request this immediately.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, request. Yes, please. Request that key. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm putting in there.
This is all we ever wanted. Don't make your games like super graphically advanced. Wait a while to put out a new one. Give us online multiplayer, and just make a basic but story-rounded game. I mean, oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna play this on the stream sometime in the future. Yeah. So. Yeah, release date coming soon. We don't know yet, but it'll be up soon. Believe me, you guys will know. You'll know. Alright, moving on. We're going to see Sons of Valhalla. It's a side-scrolling base-building strategy game. Figured Steve might enjoy this one. You take on the role of Therauld Olafsson, the son of a Viking Jarl, to conquer England and save the love of your life. This is action, strategy-building, platformer, roguelite, sorry. So, let's watch the trailer.
Love the art style. Love the animation.
Mm-hmm.
All those lovebirds are in love and kissing on a log where all those animals can judge them. Were they literally just playing footsie there? I don't know what the name of the game is, but there's a game
Kingdom
that came out.
I think it's called the Kingdom or something.
Yeah, that's kind of got this. You protect your village / town, and you're kind of like building out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a lot like that, but I'm not saying that's a bad game at all.
So yeah, another great looking game. No release date just yet. Our next one is called Cats and the Other Lives. Cats and the Other Lives is a narrative experience that explores the reunion of a broken family from the perspective of their house cat, Aspen. Is the cat just a witness, or does the animal have a more mysterious role in their lives than we anticipate? It's coming out sometime this year. Cats, story-rich, adventure, atmospheric, 2D. It's not often I'll go through a narrative game. I just thought it was very unique that it went through the eyes of a cat.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's watch the trailer.
We'll be a little bit behind, but that's okay.
Yeah, this looks good so far.
Very movie-esque.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan of these types of games.
Homie's just smoking a cig.
Oh, wow.
Also wishlisted. I'm really digging the art for this.
Yeah.
The fact that nobody has faces, though, is a little disturbing.
Not necessarily, because the cat probably doesn't remember faces as much as they do smell and, you know.
That makes sense, yeah. Oh, we just got chucked on the ground. The life of the cat.
Cute little kitty Aspen, meow.
Wow, he just looks at you with those gold eyes. Alright.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the other reason, so that you focus more on the cat. Yes, you gain some sort of, like, knowledge of who each individual person is and their personalities and stuff, but you want to keep your focus on, you know, the story more so than the detail of the people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Their faces are unimportant. Oh my god. Games that it's similar to The Longing. I haven't played that in a while. Oh, he's got his cat over. Look at the kid soon.
Just a little bit of kitty time. He was getting grumpy. Can't talk about cat games and not have a cat on stream.
I've got to get back to The Longing sometime, because I'm sure the dude is ready to wake up right now.
Me too.
Alright, we're going to move on to our last game in the Best of Steam, which is called Road Flash. This game reminded me a lot of Road Fight for the NES Famicom. Road Flash is a racing game inspired by the visuals, games, and cars from the late 80s and early 90s. This game is coming out on St. Patrick's Day. Pixel graphics, racing, 90s, score attack. Let's watch that trailer. Tamashi.
Never ready, like the battery.
Oh,
ask if I'm ready.
Oh, this is definitely a fucking Road Fight. They definitely took Road Fight. Look! Now, they added more to it, obviously, but I like it.
So if you get enough energy, will you go faster? Oh, also, environments? Flying!
Okay, this is a little bit different than Road Fight. Holy shit.
This is like Road Fight 2.0.
Boom.
Oh, sure.
You seen that at the end.
Yeah, alright, that's wishlisted.
Yeah, all 4 games wishlisted for me as well, so.
Yep.
Damn.
Another good one. Another good one.
Not much to have to say about it. It's nice that they have some flying as well. I think it's a little trippy how the screen moves as you move. I'm not too much a fan of that, considering it's not utilizing the entire screen and it doesn't necessarily need to move with you. I think that's a bit of a throw off there, but maybe that's just me. Something to consider, Tamashi. Go back and play Road Fight for NES and then figure it out, yo. Alright, we're going to get into some news from IndieRetroNews.com. Starting with Slow Mo, a rage-inducing platformer for the NES, gets a free beta. So, let's go. And what the hell? Oh, it's a 43-second trailer. Huh, little mole playing. Look at him.
Oh, I love those graphics.
So, when it comes to games such as Meat Boy and VVVVV, you just know the game is going to be fun but extremely challenging and sometimes frustrating as hell. Well, along comes another game to drive you completely insane while remaining fun too. It is Eric Rosalind and team's upcoming NES game, Slow Mo, a hardcore puzzle platformer with a focus on challenging maneuvers and mind-bending puzzles, available to try as a free beta. Although you can play the free beta today, the full version promises to have more music, extra challenging levels to induce further rage, additional scorekeeping features, a checkpoint timer, more fixes, and finally all of this available as a cartridge version for both the NES and the Famicom. So yes, certainly a game worth keeping an eye out for when it gets an eventual release. Ooh, another NES game, like actual cart game. I love when they do that. It's the same as when you were talking about the Infinity, when they're going to release that on a Game Boy Color cartridge. That's awesome. Alright, the next game we have here is called Creeping Me Out Hex Knight. An upcoming Amiga platformer by Mixel. Looks better than ever. Alright, so if you love games such as the Addams Family on the Amiga, then you might like this news update, as thanks to Iraq letting us know via Facebook. He has told us the upcoming Amiga platformer of Creeping Me Out Hex Knight by Mixel has just got a brand new video update which shows all developments made so far. The game, due to be released this year, possibly April, is a brand new platformer for the Commodore Amiga, which will be developed using Iraq's Scorpion engine. Although it is still in the early days for this game, and time will tell if it does get a demo for April and a future boxed edition via Bitmapsoft. According to the creator, Creeping Me Out Hex Knight will not only have hints of Turrican and a bit of Castlevania, but will also feel like an Addams Family game containing more story elements than the average Amiga action platformer. Footage shown above or linked here, with the link there, working on an emulated A1200 plus megabyte fast RAM, shows the game with copper skies, new music which can be disabled, enemy bugs that can even stick to the player, a brand new status bar, new slimes, and much more. You'll just have to watch the video to see for yourselves. Doesn't look too bad.
It looks pretty fluid.
Yeah. It's a little slower than I'd expect, but I mean, it still looks very flowing and good.
Yeah, that's why I described it as fluid. It's definitely not as fast as an animation as you might expect, but there's no hitching.
Exactly.
I like the design of that character. It's pretty interesting.
There's not much sound. It's just sound effects. Alright, and moving on. Citadel, a Polish Amiga FPS, is getting a fixed and speed improved version. Trawling through our inbox looking for some decent updates to share on... Oh, here we go. Here's the patch version. Looking for some decent updates to share on Indie Retro News. We've just been given the heads up via Solo that the Polish first-person shooter Amiga game of Citadel is getting a fixed, speed improved version thanks to the original authors. Now, if you haven't heard of this game before, Citadel was released back in '95 by Black Legend, and some regard it as a great game if you have a fast Amiga, one of the best FPS on the Amiga. According to Solo, who sent us the email, after 25 years, the author of Citadel are not only planning to release a fixed version for the Commodore Amiga, but among the speed improvements on better configs, they hope to fix the annoying Disk 1 and floppy drive requirements, fix hard drive installations, and running from HD, better in-game animation, and other fixes may occur. As for the videos above or linked in both of the links they have there, this shows the test of the current version with UAE and A3000 68030 at 25 megahertz, and it looks great. For those listening, it looks a lot like Wolfenstein, but obviously like that style of FPS, but it doesn't look like actual Wolfenstein. It's its own thing altogether. It's quite nice.
I mean, I guess old school Doom as well. You can say is an influence there. It looks really nice, though. I don't know why I want to say I bet on a fast Amiga that played better than Doom played on Windows 96 computer, but I bet that would be the case.
Could very well be.
Well, FPS people, there's one for you to look forward to.
Right. We don't really have many people who play old school FPSs, I don't think, in our community.
Not anymore.
Nope. Alright, our next game is called Space Firehawk, a Space Firebird 1980 inspired shoot 'em up for the C64. Alright, we certainly get a lot of shoot 'em ups for the C64. There's another shoot 'em up many 80s arcade gamers will remember is Space Firebird, or as the developer puts on the main website, a Space Firebird inspired shoot 'em up for the C64 called Space Firehawk. Developed by Carsten Senkel, you must battle waves of enemies, and the more enemies you destroy, the higher your score. Certain enemies give more points, such as the Emperor giving you 500 and the Torture 750 points. The game features 12 different enemy types, asteroid fields, boss battles, power-ups, ship and weapon upgrades, a balanced difficulty curve, and developed for PAL systems, but will also run a little faster on NTSC.
I was going to say, this looks like it's throttled.
It looks good, though. I like it. This is like...
The art style is nice, yeah.
This is my type of shooter, I think.
The space shooter really gets you into it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It's not super fast either, but it looks like it has some challenge. Like, some of those enemies are...
Yeah, well, it's nice that it's not super fast, because I've seen things... I played arcade Atari games that were so fast, it's like, who, how, what? But I guess it was arcade, so you were supposed to learn the pattern.
Yeah.
This looks like a much more casual experience. Like, they want you to just relax and have fun.
And, you know, speaking of people in the community, it would be actually kind of nice to see someone who did play some of these other consoles that none of us really take the time to play. Like, nobody in our community plays C64 or Amiga or MSX or, you know, that kind of stuff.
Or there are people like me who do play DOS, but we're completely illiterate and don't know how to play other DOS games.
I mean, I could give you a ton of DOS. You know that already. I have a ton of DOS.
I have
games.
access to a bunch of them. It's just running them that's the problem.
Yeah, you need DOS
I
box.
guess an emulated setting would be a little bit easier. These emulators are more friendly than DOS.
I might be able to help you out with that. I think it's called Defend or something like that, where it works a lot like DOS box. But okay. We'll talk about that some other time. Alright, so our last article for this week from Indie Retro News is Alex Kidd 3 Curse in Miracle World, a high-grade SMS fan game gets a release. Oh, we're looking at the long play. Nice.
We're not going to watch that.
No, God no, it's over an hour long. So in 87, Sega released the great side-scrolling platform game Alex Kidd for the Sega Master System. Although it was first released in Japan in 1986, but internationally in 87, it is one of the most well-known games that was also built into most Master System 2s. In actual fact, it was so well-loved that a fan by the name of Yeti Bomar, aka Watain, has announced the release of an incredible-looking fan game of Alex Kidd 3 Curse in Miracle World for the Sega Master System. When Alex Kidd 2 Curse in Miracle World was unofficially released as a demo during the early part of 2017, it was already something special at only 5 levels with great level design and improved colors and graphics over the original game. But now, as thanks to a heads up via Carlos, we now know that Alex Kidd 3, powered by Kid Ed, features new vehicles, new castles, a new character sprite, improved graphics, new levels, a fantastic soundtrack, and much, much more. You'll just have to experience for yourselves. Six is over there just hitting the bong hardcore. God love him. Making me proud. Alright, so yeah, if you've ever played any of the Alex Kidd games, for those listening later, this looks fantastic. It is very much the same game style and gameplay as the original. Oh wow. Yeah, it's quite nice to see remakes like this, especially when it's fan remakes. It just goes to show you how much people, love different series to make such good remakes like this when it's, such a big thing that they have an entire release for it.
The Master System originally?
Yeah.
No wonder. People are longing for these old games, and if you don't have the collection, well, how are you going to get access to it?
Because the Master System was technically on par with the NES, it just didn't get as much love, plain and simple. So,
you say on par, I say this looks better than the NES.
It all depends. I mean, if you go and there's some fan remake, or some fan games and hacks and stuff that people make for the NES now that look way better than stuff that was released back in the day, but you have to also realize that the limitations that people had back then are not the same that they have now. So
this makes me think of Mario a little in this water level, but also he was just fucking putting that rice away. Oh, and I F-bombed. I tried not to hard earlier. There's an animation for those of you who are not seeing the podcast. He has a bowl of rice, and it's like every 1 second the bowl, his chopsticks go from his bowl to his face, and it's like, how fast can a human eat rice? Well, that's the answer.
Alright, now we're going to move into our news from Destructoid. Starting with Square Enix presents a new Nintendo Direct-like stream series, and the first one debuts March 18th. It'll run for around 40 minutes. Every publisher and their brother is getting a stream, and now Square Enix is ready to announce their next project, Square Enix Presents. It's a new Nintendo Direct-like video program. It's described as a series of shows, so we're getting more than just upcoming March 18th debut, folks. It's crazy how diverse Square Enix's catalog is at this point, but updates for Life is Strange, Outriders, Just Cause Mobile, Marvel's Avengers, Balan Wonderworld are announced. As far as specific titles go, in the broader picture, they'll celebrate the 25th anniversary of Tomb Raider somehow and show us new mobile game announcements, as well as what Taito Bubble Bobble has been working on. The exact time for the first Square Enix stream is 1 p.m. on Eastern Time. ET.
We're gonna cover
is ET Eastern, because it's not usually EST Eastern Standard. So
I think it's EDT, and they're just taking out the D because it's obviously gonna be daylight.
Okay.
I don't know.
It'll last approximately 40 minutes. You can find a full list of everything the publisher intends to showcase below. World premiere of the next game in the Life is Strange series. Outriders, the high-intensity RPG shooter set in original dark, desperate sci-fi universe, coming out April 1st. Balan Wonderworld, which arrives March 26th. The ongoing celebration for 25th anniversary of Tomb Raider. Marvel's Avengers, the story-driven third-person action-adventure game from Crystal Dynamics. Upcoming action shooter Just Cause Mobile. New mobile game announcements from the award-winning Square Enix Montreal studio. A look at a few of the whimsical games from Square Enix sister company Taito. I did not know that Taito was a sister company to Square Enix. They must have picked them up a while ago and we just didn't realize.
That's interesting.
It's like Tomb Raider. I was not aware that Square Enix was behind Tomb Raider either. Which makes me wonder if
they've always been behind Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay. I was not aware.
I played the heck out of the demo and never another Tomb Raider for whatever reason. But
maybe that's something to consider in the future, dude.
Yeah.
Well, if you enjoyed the demo enough.
Yeah, at the time, I didn't like the concept of exploring like that. I guess I felt like it was a horror game, but now that you mention it, yeah, Lara Croft 25-year celebration, maybe I should be looking into that. Thanks, Square Enix. Reminded me of your other works that I need to pay more attention to.
Alright, next up is the Magnificent Trufflepigs. Is an adventure game with laid-back metal detecting. Alright, so the Magnificent Trufflepigs is a walking, talking, metal-detecting narrative adventure game from the lead designer of Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Doesn't that sound cozy? As someone who just yesterday tossed on his background noise video of cows grazing the mountainside, I'd say so. The upcoming game, a collaboration between Andrew Crashaw's new studio Thunked and publisher AMC Games, will set you loose on an English farm with a metal detector and a walkie-talkie. This was more of a unique game that I had to bring up because it just sounds strange. So you're looking for a long-lost earring, a sort of local treasure, before the farm is taken over by an energy company. Playing as Adam, voiced by Arthur Darville, you'll chat with Beth, who found the first half of the pair years back and hopes to feel a childhood sense of adventure again. Beyond the easygoing premise, there are hints that this seemingly simple task might spiral out of control by the end. It's tough not to point to Firewatch, even if the comparisons are probably surface level, but either way, there's plenty of room for more games in the conversing in nature space. Magnificent Trufflepigs is coming to Steam and Nintendo Switch in early summer 2021.
Is this an adventure game?
If you've ever seen anyone play Firewatch, basically it's almost like a suspense narrative. So you go around and you walk around like the place that you have there, and you find new things, and as you find new things, it opens up more story, and why did this happen? How come this is like this, and so on and so forth. So
okay, I got you. Interesting. Yeah, it definitely sounded weird, but now that you've brought it all together, even a little more strange. Yay for strange games on the podcast.
So it looks like it could be interesting. A weird premise to the game, though, like just looking for an earring. But I mean, again, I've heard weirder stuff. So, beach soda. I wish I could live for soda every day. Like what? That fucking game. Anyways, quick little update here. Record of Lodos War Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth is out March 27th, and it's cheap right now in early access. Early access version is $10.39 if you're fast. I don't know why it says if you're fast. It was bonus soda. That was only yesterday they put up this article. So, as a huge Castlevania Symphony of the Night fan, I feel honor bound to check out Record of Lodos War, Deedlit, and Wonder Labyrinth, which we've took a look at before on the podcast, and it looks very, very, very good. Definitely suggest anyone who's into those types of games to check it out or pick it up. Let's see. It does look fantastic in early access, but you know me, I like to wait. Now's the time to strike as Team Ladybug's action platformer is about to fully launch on March 27th. Better yet, there's still an early bird discounted price of $10.39. I don't know the source material, but I'm convinced I'll enjoy this adaptation when a not significant part of the HUD is devoted to a future boss's health bar. I'm in my happy place. I don't know what the hell this guy's getting on with, but...
What?
This is an older trailer, but a good starting point nonetheless. They're getting on with a bunch of random shit. Like, what's up with the early access bill? Who cares? They said that they've also seen in comments that it's too short for an unfinished game. The final version will further round out the experience by adding stage 5 and 6 with the March 27th update. If for whatever reason you want to wait it out, the final game will cost $20 on Steam. And yeah, it's very Symphony of the Night. Like we were saying, this is a very short trailer, but we'll play it because look at it. That is not what I want to see. Get out of here, ad. Oh. Yeah, it looks very Symphony of the Night. Very, very much. Oh, look at that puzzle, though, with the arrows.
Adepttus. Hardy. Very hardy game. I'm not very much for Castlevania-esque games. I find their difficulty level to be...
I like the newer ones more so than the ones on NES. That could be just me. There's some of them that I've wanted to play, Symphony of the Night obviously being one of them.
Yeah.
I think there's, what is it, Aria of Sorrow, and there's another one in that series, or a sister game to that one, that
There's
also
one
looks
on
really
the
good.
PS2, Eternity of Sorrow, that I got to rent.
Okay.
That makes me think of the later games like you are there that seem more fun.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. But something about this one makes me feel like maybe best of both worlds. Like you get some of the newer style stuff with the older style graphics.
And I don't know why this popped in my head, but I'm just going to mention this real quick. In the near future, I probably will be doing another playthrough of Castle of the Winds, and I'll be making sure that Mr. Six joins me for that playthrough.
That'll be lovely, especially after we talked about Loop Hero earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Which I didn't mention at all. Some of that feels a little Castle of the Winds in the gear. I apologize that we're coming back to that now.
It's alright, it's alright.
That was one of the things I thought was really cool. Anyway.
Alright, someone recreated the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes in a new style in this Mockup trailer. We're not going to get into too much of the actual article. I wanted to see the trailer because I knew that Game Hunter and Net 6 would probably very much want to see this. And then I was like, I know that it's 3D, so now I really want to see it. So let's watch this trailer here. Oh, wait, what? What did they show up for Switch? Is this the remakes that they're making for Nintendo?
Yeah. Diamond, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are supposed to be on Switch.
Oh. Oh, God. Why are they doing this, Steve? This is terrible. If they put out another Pokemon game, you know I'm going to play it.
Yep.
Oh, I'm loving the 3D one.
Arceus Legends that we haven't covered yet, and we will cover later. Oh my god, that rendition is beautiful.
Yeah, this looks fantastic. Oh my god. This looks like more of an adventure game than like a Pokemon game.
Obama Snow. Oh, I love having the Pokemon walk behind you. Yes. Everything, yes. Oh my goodness. I didn't know I liked this trailer until I liked this bit. I thought I was perfectly happy with what we were going to get, but then Stefan changed my mind. Notice how the animations for Pocky and such are a little lackluster. Those Pokemon are very stiff.
Trailer concept. This is not a game.
Yes, these are our fan remaster imaginings.
Yeah. This is the actual game. Or trailer.
The actual looks far more like
Chibi.
the original.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, it's more chibi style. Like big heads, little bodies. But then when you go into an actual fight, it's like normal people.
That's not terrible, but the other is way better. Like, I can live with this.
Yeah.
But what they're going to give us could be so much better, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they'd done that first one that they were showing there of the trailer, that would be way better. That's the way it should be. Oh.
This still isn't terrible.
No.
Like,
God, no.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I really, really would like to see other concepts like this come out and maybe pressure Nintendo to pressure. It's funny to say that, but have them pressure Game Freak.
Yeah. Well, we could probably do it now. Alright, so next up we have something. If Little Bud Peep is still here, I don't think she is, but if she is, she might enjoy this one. To the Rescue is a simulation game about running a dog shelter. She has 2 rescue dogs, so. So coming to Nintendo Switch and Steam in autumn 2021. A dog shelter management game is a solid idea that should immediately click with a lot of people, myself included. I've run all sorts of failed virtual ventures, from theme parks to farms to hospitals to entire cities, but none of those scenarios feel as high stakes as getting a new shelter off the ground. Do I have what it takes to succeed in Little Rock Games To the Rescue? I hope so. Alright, let's have a watch of this trailer, because it looks like it's going... Oh yeah, it's a top-down, and you are literally rebuilding an animal shelter, one thing at a time. You pick a character and you start with an animal.
That's really cool.
Have a little
I kind of want to
thing.
see the gameplay, because if it is what I think it is, I'm going to have a comparison. Yep. Prison Architect.
Yeah, I figured as much.
And I don't hate it. I literally
not at all.
don't. This is amazing. For people who love animals, instead of imprisoning people, you can give them really, like, wonderful shelter areas, and then people want to come and not buy them because they live in really luxurious places already. LOL. That's a really cute game. I hope you let her know about that later. Cause
I'm literally taking a picture of it right now and sending it to her on Snapchat.
This looks like a game I would want to play. Just because instead of the negative aspect, you get a positive one.
It's a fairly long 2-minute trailer, but you can put up ads. You can you have finances on what you're spending all your money on, what you need to do every day, and it's actually very interesting. And people come in and adopt the pets and stuff.
And that's what keeps you running, right?
That's what it looks like, yeah. Wow.
It's definitely a different kind of game with a familiar mechanic. I like it.
Yeah, I would definitely play that. It looks good. It looks really good. Like you said, a lot like Prison Architect, but being able to just start it small with just like one pet and then just keep going from there. Oh, wow. Development team at Little Rock Games has pledged to donate 20% of profits to pet shelters. Good for them. Yeah, exactly. Good for them. That's awesome.
That's exactly what we need to start doing with these kinds of games.
And apparently there was a Kickstarter for this, but that's obviously something that we missed back in 2019.
That's all right. We're covering it now.
That's true.
And it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right, our last article from Destructoid this week. I can't wait to jump into the cutesy world of Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. So anyone who grew up playing Pocky and Rocky, they're making a new one. Publisher Natsume has released a new trailer for its 16-bit inspired sequel, Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. The new teaser gives fans the first reasonably lengthy look at the cute-em-up's frantic top-down shooter gameplay in action. Developed by the Tango Project, the same outfit behind recent retro revisits Wild Guns Reloaded and Ninja Savior's Return of the Warriors, Reshrined is no mere remaster, but a fully fledged sequel to the 92 SNES release Kiki Kaikai Nazo no Kuro Mental, which is better known in the West as Pocky and Rocky. The new game will see the determined Shrine Maiden and her faithful Tanuki buddy battle waves of enemies in a spanking new adventure. One that has been a long time coming for sure. Utilizing a brand new engine but retaining the charming 16-bit aesthetic to the original title, the cutesy sequel looks like a lightweight bit of fun for players looking to while away the weekend with a bit of old school fun. I'm definitely going to check out the action when it launches this fall on PS4 and Nintendo Switch. So let's watch the trailer real quick. Oh, it's not yet ready. Oh shit.
How much stuff has made its way onto Switch?
A lot. I'm just glad that Nintendo is finally listening and saying, oh shit, let's keep a lot more retro stuff around and see what happens. And they're seeing like, okay, yes, this works. We gotta keep this up. We're not gonna stop it. I hope they don't stop again. Because like when they were doing like Wii and GameCube and N64, they just gave up on all the old school stuff and retro and, you know, pixel-like stuff for only new stuff and new stuff only. And this was their bread and butter. This is what started them off, and people still love this style. People love the way that pixel art looks.
Well, the thing about pixel art, while it's complex, it's kind of simplified to other art forms.
Yep.
And everyone can have their own art style. So you take that time to handcraft every pixel instead of making big splotches of color. Heck yeah, it's gonna turn out better. Like, that is literally the Bob Ross theory, but digital. You know what I mean? Like,
this looks amazing.
People love this. It does.
So, for anyone who has played Pocky and Rocky before, this, yeah. If this is supposed to be basically the sequel to the last game, if someone said this was released on Super Nintendo years ago, I'd believe it. It looks very much like the original. Obviously, it's updated to be, you know, for HD and stuff, but it still has that pixel look to it, which is amazing. I love it. Alright, now we're going to get into some Kickstarters. We got 3 Kickstarters for this week. The first one is actually, I was asked to look at it by the developer. And
so it's kind of dev help too.
Indeed it is. So you guys can see it there now. It's called Lucid Soul. It's already been funded. I'm just going to let it refresh there, as you know, it always happens every week. But for whatever reason, Kickstarters poop the bed. Alright, so, yes, Lucid Soul the game, a villain protagonist, high fantasy, horror JRPG with turn-based combat in a retro-inspired style. They're looking for $63,000. They just finished their funding. They're at $63,849. They still have 8 days to go. So let's watch the trailer, see what this looks like. Jesus, bleeders and feeders.
First up is our adorable little Earthbet. Isn't she so
Little creep factor.
Just
Whoa.
don't call me a zombie. Or prepare to phase. Next up,
She just chewed off her own finger.
that's gonna leave
Gee, what the
if her mouths don't soon after. And then we have Lucretia. But who am I kidding? These hatchlings already have
Whoa. Oh.
themselves.
You don't need that many mouths. So.
Yeah, wait until the next business comes up.
To you two, with the Styx twins, it's always a game of tug of war. Careful they don't
I'm
settle
good.
for each getting half.
Put that away now.
Wick. Always seeing the good side of humanity. Who knows? Maybe that's why she's blind in one eye.
We see some gameplay?
Eeny, meeny, miny,
No, gameplay is for gamers.
Oh my god, this is 12 minutes long?
all chock full.
Okay, so it is a... It does look like a JRPG. Oh. Is it a fight? Yeah, okay, looks like it's a fight. So let's see how this works. Because it said it was turn-based combat. I love killing things. Jesus.
I mean, she did bite her own finger off, right? That's right, lady.
Whoa. Can we just see some stuff without the talking? I don't really want the tutorial, to be honest with you. What's wrong?
Cinematic battles. This is definitely RPG turn-based.
Almost narrative.
What is tactical? That's the format that usually employs those kinds of battles. You know, you try real hard and you die, and they're like, the story continues anyway. ...
So I don't know how I feel about it just yet. I like the humor that's behind it and stuff. I don't know. It seemed like the trailer could have been done a little bit better. Like, I enjoyed, like, yes, the introduction to the characters and stuff, but don't show us a tutorial. Show us, like, pivotal points of the game that we need to see, like, what that battles actually look like in full force, as opposed to, like, oh, I'm doing, like I said, a tutorial. Oh, I did 1 damage. Now they don't do, like, yeah, that happens in every fucking JRPG that you've ever played. Just show us, you know, what the gameplay is like. So it doesn't look bad. I like the art style. The pixel art looks fantastic. I like that it's not quite overhead.
That is a nice camera angle, yeah.
Alright, so $20 or more gets a copy of the game. Oh no.
Do we have tearitis?
Do you see the slider over here, Steve?
Oh.
So let's just scroll down. So that was 1, 2. Oh my God! No. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God! 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 41, technically 42 tiers, counting the $1 tier.
I should have stopped you at 30.
There are tiers specifically for a Mac for it. That's besides the point. You should be able to, when you get a digital copy of the game, if you want it on Mac over Windows, that should be an option. If you want it on Steam over, whatever, like Epic or something, that should be an option. Not a tier for this one, tier for this one, tier for this one, tier for this one. Now we're going to have a tier for this one and the soundtrack, and then this one and the soundtrack, and then this one and the soundtrack. Like, no. It's too much.
At that point, I'm like, don't even tell me any more about these tiers.
And this is why, this is at the point where, in the Kickstarter, that I don't want to talk anymore about the game, because with that many tiers, it makes me feel like you're greedy. That you're oh, well, no, we're trying to give people as many options as possible. It's like, yeah, no, that's fine. I understand you're trying to give people options, but it's a Kickstarter. Just fucking, you don't need to have a dollar amount for every single little thing. Like, now I'm going to give you 3 buttons, and now I'm going to give you the 3 buttons and the fucking postcards. Jesus Christ, man. Just, anyways. The game itself looks nice, and the trailer could use a little bit of work. The tiers, there's way too many tiers. There's no way, I can never agree with that. It's never something I can't agree with.
Well, it sounds like you can cut it down to 21 just by not having Mac tiers. But
Yeah.
even then,
Oh, no,
you need
and
5-10 less by coalescing what you have.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, I know you understand that, Jay. It's just, for me, like I said, I just I don't understand why they chop it up so much just to get these different tiers. It's like, just make it one tier. It's just, because I'm not going to go down through 41, 42 different tiers. That's just a waste of time, so.
Literally take over the whole podcast.
So we're going to move on to our next Kickstarter, which is Worship, a cultist-themed multiplayer roguelike game. They are looking for $65,000. They're already well-funded. They were funded in 36 hours. They were looking for $65,000. They're at $101,000. Over 1,500 backers, 27 days to go. Blindly serve a dreadful god and lead its cult in a fresh multiplayer take in the roguelike genre inspired by Pikmin. Let's watch. Another 5-minute trailer, but at least it's not 13 minutes. Jesus.
We'll probably get to see some gameplay a lot sooner, so I would assume. Yes, heavily inspired by Pikmin. So basically, it's like Pikmin, but disturbing.
Okay, I like the little starter trailer there, just kind of showing like a little bit of what the game is about. Oh, here we go. I like that it's black and white. That's a nice touch. So yeah, they're limiting the amount of color using it as a huge detail factor.
Oh, you know, this art style reminds me so much of Don't Starve. I love this. There's a disturbance in a wall somewhere.
Oh yeah, and this is multiplayer. I forgot about that.
Oh wow.
Oh, you develop your own village too. Nice. And they keep making money the longer we stay here and watch.
Cha-ting, cha-ting, cha-ting. I wonder if Jeremy just added like 3 times there.
Alright, so it looks fantastic.
Whoa.
Look at this. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. This is good tiering right here. Alright, let's look at these reward tiers. $20 digital copy of the game, your name in the Kickstarter backer landmark, exclusive Discord title, digital wallpapers. Let's see, for $40 you also get an art book of worship, a copy of the soundtrack. For $60 you get a Kickstarter skin set, beta access. $65 you get 4 copies of the game.
Wow.
So that means, I guess, to max out your multiplayer experience.
Wow, they're actually thinking about you wanting your multiplayer experience.
Pretty much, yeah. At $100, a worship T-shirt, 5 artwork prints, alpha access, beta access, and everything else that was previously mentioned. $125 gets fanatical follower plus physical limited edition of worship. So that's nice. $150, one physical copy of the art book included. $225, you get 3 T-shirts. $500, you get to design a random event appearing in game.
An event?
And for $1,000, you will design a ritual and its effects.
Wow.
And the early birds of $16 is all gone. The early bird cultist for the T-shirt and the artwork prints and alpha access are all gone. And wow, 3 people backed at $6,666 to design an old god, its lore, and signature ritual. Plus, you also get a limited edition and 20 copies of the game, 3 T-shirts, and all the other previously mentioned. I mean, you're paying $6,000. I hope the fuck you will get 20 copies of the game.
You're almost by yourself funding the project. You're putting a huge percentage of that game.
18,000.
The total's 18,000, and
they were looking for 65.
Funds the game.
They were looking for 65 altogether, and 18,000 puts a huge. That's almost a third of what they were looking for.
Yeah, that's huge. It's
yeah.
So huge.
And especially when 3 people go and actually grab that up. 50 people grab the early bird cultist tier, and 200 people back to early bird, just the game. So I mean, they made, you know, what, 3,200 from that one. What was it, 50 backers on that one, so
this is an excellent case of we have an almost finished game. Let's let other people come in, help finish the process with those 66k tiers. Like, holy crap, this game is really cool, and this Kickstarter is set up really well.
Yeah,
good job, Stefan. My mind is blown.
Me, I didn't do anything. I'm just.
You found it. If I had money, I would probably back this.
Wow.
Even as it's already backed fully.
Limited run games on the physical copy of it, and it looks fantastic. It looks like a book.
Oh wow.
Looks really nice.
Is it on a USB drive or something?
I have no idea. Stretch goals, worship is funded, 85,000 explorable subzones, possession ritual at 125k to get a secret alternate endings. That's pretty cool, and I'm pretty sure they're getting close to that. Yeah, another 24,000. Not even 23,000. And our last Kickstarter for this evening. You might get excited for this as well, Mr. 6. Little Nemo and the Nightmare Fiends. An indie game based on Winsor McKay's groundbreaking comic strip. 20 days to go, 500 backers are looking for 88,271. They're at 36,378. Let's watch the trailer, shall we? Of course it's coming for Switch. So this is a new Little Nemo. This is exciting.
That's what you were saying. My mind had to twist back into frame there for a second.
Not a huge fan of the art style. Oh, I don't like the effects either.
No, this needs work.
I was really hoping they might have kept the retro aspect to it, but
it feels more storybook than retro.
Yes.
And it's not doing the game well. It's making it feel like a cheap, and yes, I'm saying this, a cheap adventure game.
I mean, some of the art is pretty good, but a lot of it I'm not a huge fan of.
They could improve all of this. Oh, no. Make it better.
So they're trying. It looks like they're trying to go along with the comic book, the comic strip look to it. But a lot of times that can be hard to do unless you're going to do like. I'm trying to think of that one game that really does it well that everyone liked. There's a dude who's like a superhero in a red jumpsuit. I know Game Hunter's going to know. I'm waiting for him to pop it up there any second. He's going to say it and I'm like, yes, that's it.
Beautiful Joe.
There you go. Yes, Beautiful Joe.
Beat him. I was thinking.
Beat him. Oh, so let's. Oh no! Please don't say that, guys. Oh my God! Yeah, they have a ton of tears again.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got a case of the tearitis?
Yeah, apparently.
Throw it out. Never mind.
Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of the art style they were going for the game. Don't get me wrong, the art style for the comic strip is fine. It's a comic. But I don't like the look of this in the game. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't look as good as it would as if it was a pixel art. And I know some people might say, oh, well, it's just because you grew up with the game on Nintendo. It's like, nah, it's because I don't like this style. They could have chose any. If they went with the Beautiful Joe style, I probably would have been happier with it. Pajama Sam.
I don't know what I want. I want it to be totally retro style, I guess.
I did too, to be honest with you. But
I want it to come out on the SNES. This is what my big brain idea is for Little Nemo 2. But
I mean, they could do because we're in a day of modern retro. They could still do it on Nintendo. Just make it different. You just update it.
Yeah.
Grab a different story to go with and stuff, because it looks like that's what they do here. You get different characters and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that would be fantastic. But yeah, I can't get down with the art style. And let's actually count these tiers again.
Oh man.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 tiers. 20. It's too many. 10 to 15 is more than enough. More than enough.
That gives you a lot of options without being spammy. 100% agreed. Once you go over that, you are literally just looking for ways for people to pile money in your face, and I'm like, you need to calm down.
Yeah, it's oh no, it's not. We're just trying to give them different things. It's the same thing as saying like, oh well, you could get this one, or for $5 more you can get this and this, or for $10 more you can get this and this and this, or it's like, stop trying to like squeeze more money out of me. Fuck.
You stop oring me. You can only have so many ores.
But they're going to do it fucking 22 times. Or as in the first game, they're going to do it 42 fucking times. And I'm like, no. I'm not interested. So I apologize to the devs. I mean, it's not that your game is terrible or anything. For all I know, the gameplay is fun. Maybe the story is fantastic, but
someone's going to enjoy this game.
Yes,
I'm just
definitely.
Gonna throw it out there.
Definitely.
There's a target audience, and they're hitting it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that target audience is, but people are going to pick this game up.
There's probably lots of artists out there who would actually love this, hand-drawn animation type stuff that they're doing. Mm-hmm. So. Alright, we're going to move into our indie dev help for this week. We've got, 6 different things here. We're going to start with this game called Eggcelerate by Tim Baudet. Baudet? Baudet. Practice racing with an egg on top of your car for the extra boost of confidence. Be smooth with your inputs to avoid dropping the egg on the ground and leaving a mess. Go as fast as you can for the best time to reach the finish line, and also collect all the achievements along the way. This is a racing, casual, driving, physics 3D cute game. It's going to be released at the end of the month on the 30th of March. Let's watch this trailer. Oh, this looks nonsensical. And you dropped the egg. Oh my god! Oh! Okay, I can see the fun in this. I can really see the fun in this right now.
Oh no. Oh no. No, I've seen it and I can't unsee it.
Add to my wish list. This looks fun. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Goose game that I understand. Untitled Goose Game. Why are you so familiar?
At first I was like, oh, I don't know how this game's going to be. But then you see it and it's like, yes! I'm glad this is a thing. This is great. And I like that you can keep playing through the same course over and over and see all the broken eggs that you're after, like, splatting everywhere. My question is, are they all double yolks? That's pretty awesome. I want all double yolked eggs. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, man. I've only ever gotten a couple. Can we not?
Well, see, that's the thing. They usually they try to make sure that none of those go through. So.
Oh, is it a safety thing?
I don't think so. I think it's just consistency thing more than anything.
I got you. So some of these, yes, I want this game in my life. Oh, stop promising me too much fun with nonsense.
Looks like a lot of fun. I would definitely suggest that to anyone listening out there. If you want, I have a feeling it's not going to be super expensive. It doesn't look like it's like, I was going to say not much replay value, but that'd be a lie. It looks like I play it over and over again just for the fun of it. Because it does look challenging and fun and funny and, so on. The only way to make this better... Oh,
hold up.
All right.
This is moddable.
Tim.
It's probably... Yeah.
Tim, if you're listening, later, right now, whatever, the only thing I will ask of you, please... Make this multiplayer. Make this multiplayer, and this would be so much fun. I can just imagine. Oh, Steve is doing so good with his thing. Oh, no one run into me. And then, of course, I'm coming up on Steve like, I'm going to run into Steve. And then, of course, Steve's reaction is, what the fuck?
I'm going to hit my brakes, and we're both going to lose our eggs in exchange.
That's fine. I mean, yes. It's worth it.
Another thing that I would do, I don't know how to encourage modding, but I would allow a lot of modding. Because this game is a great baseboard for a lot of silly, fun driving concepts.
And custom maps.
Like you said. Yes, exactly. That is another thing. That was the other thing I wanted to mention in that. People might want different cars, different maps, different silly things to do other than the egg and driving. Because there are other silly things to do while driving.
Oh, yeah. No, they also showed a lot of different vehicles, so it looks like they do have different vehicles in there, and I would imagine that the more popular this gets, the more that they'll add more to it. Same thing, like, it says similar to games you play, golf with your friends. And as soon as I seen that, I was like, there's a multiplayer? It's not multiplayer, but I'm hoping that, because, again, they contacted me for this, so I'm hoping that they hear this or see this, and they take in consideration to possibly try and make this multiplayer, because that would be the heights of awesomeness. You know how pissed off we get with each other when we're playing golf with friends and hit each other's balls? Anyways, moving on. Legend of Krannia, Cursed Fate. It's a top-down fantasy medieval 2D action deck-building game. Collect skills, level up, customize your gameplay, and manage your stats. It has complex 2D controls with skill switching, blocking, and dodging. This came out on the 25th of January. It is $11.49. Let's watch this first trailer. Whoa. Why is it so fast? I think I'd be terrible at this because it's so... Unless they're playing it in fast, like in fast forward, so they can show you a bunch of stuff. I don't know. Yeah, this looks very fast.
There she blows. I'm gonna add it to my wish list anyway. No, that looks like it's intentionally fast combat.
Okay. See? I'm not a huge fan of it, but Mr. Six enjoys. Alright, there's like 5 or 6 trailers there. I'm not going to watch another one. So yeah, it's top-down, very action RPG. It also seemed to me like it was very fast-paced action. So if that's something that you're into, you're going to enjoy this. But it seemed like it was almost, like I said, it felt like it was in fast-forward to me.
Yes. It is very fast, but I don't want to say that turbo is the most appropriate word to apply. So one other thing I want to point out here, there seems to be a Link to the Past vibe with this one.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit, yeah.
It's not a huge vibe, but it's there. There are some things about this that are oddly reminiscent, and those are my thoughts on this one. Hopefully someone wants to play this fast-paced combat, though, because maybe not me. Wait, this video is slower. If that's the actual combat speed, the second video is way slower. If that's the actual combat speed, I think you'd be much more happy.
Ah, okay, yeah, there we go. That's much better.
That feels much more like real life.
No, I'm still not a huge fan of these types of games anyways, but...
Yeah, and that's understandable. I wouldn't be either. But that definitely makes it more playable.
Alright, we're going to move on because we still got a couple of games to go and we're almost up to the 3-hour mark, so... The next game we have is called Karma Chapter 1. Karma is here and he will protect the innocent. Comes out 17 March 2021 by the Exactco action roguelike RPG hack and slash action. Let's watch that first trailer. I will say, if this is the person's first game, this is a very good first game. But you can see that they're still new to game development, but it looks good. This is a great start, if that's the case.
I get the vibes of a couple of different kind of games from this, but I like that. That's not terrible. I hope they continue to make games though, because that one doesn't look like it would have... Oh, that's... If you look at the second trailer, I guess the world's a little more fleshed out than the first one made it out to be. I don't know now. I'm very confused.
Trains to be stronger, and I became what everyone needs. I became Krannia.
You know, here's a thought for those videos. Instead of having 2 separate videos of about a half a minute apiece, you could have had one video and put all that together for us.
Yeah, no, the first one, like you said, it looked very bare. Like there wasn't enough detail and stuff there, so that's why I was saying it almost looked like a first game. But like I said, if this is a first game, it's a very good start. I can guarantee you that. Oh, our next game, 6, is something that we might both want to play. Galactic Crew II. It's a roguelike space exploration game inspired by FTL and the classic XCOM games. Explore a hostile galaxy with your various crew from its center to the outer reaches of space, clawing your way up from a nobody to a galaxy pioneer through colonization, commerce, and combat. Steve is already wishlisting. Coming out this spring, early access, casual simulation strategy 4K. Steve's all like, yes! Let's watch the trailer. Or 4X, my bad, 4K.
Oh
Jesus.
my god, there are so many aspects to this game. It auto-played when I went to go freaking... Oh my god. It auto-played. And
Oh, yeah, that's fine. The space fights are not the greatest looking, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. On the count that there's so much going on, and it's
loud.
just one aspect, and they may not be able to show those parts yet. That may be the part that they're struggling with in finalizing the. I don't want to like make a rush decision on that. It's not like it's Sony saying this gameplay is not finalized, but you know what I mean.
I would play this. I know some like this picture here with the dinosaur, like in a desert thing. It looks very simplified, like we were talking about in the last game, Karma. But for some reason, the space aspect, it still drives me in and off. I didn't like the space fights. They looked really like, oh, I'm just gonna park. It's like we're gonna have a shootout, but we're gonna do drive-bys. But instead of having actual drive-bys, we're gonna park next to each other and shoot. It's like, what?
Well, I mean, they say that it's very FTL-like. FTL, you do just park next to each other.
Well, that's what it looks like if you think about it. But I mean, technically, you are supposed to be doing evasive maneuvers and stuff.
But I'm just imagining you're doing them in place.
Exactly. So instead of showing everything else moving around you, it's just, okay, why show all that fucking, disorienting stuff when we can just show, here's your ship. But yeah, maybe that's what they're trying to do here, and that's fine because everything else still looks good. I like that you can do more stuff. It looks like you can build within the ship as well, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, the way that looks is super exciting. I don't know what that reminds me of, but it makes me like super happy because then you're doing your tech and you're building your ship and you're going down to planets and you're fighting people.
And I like that the shipbuilding is nice. I like that quite a bit.
If they're here with us, i.e., did they ask for you to cover this?
Yeah, everything that is in the indie dev help is stuff that's been sent directly to my email.
I really got to ask that this gets the multiplayer tag added to as well.
I
that
agree.
Can be done.
I also wholeheartedly agree.
That's the only thing this is missing, and then maybe understanding of what's going on with space combat. But I mean, they have a while. Spring 2021, we don't necessarily know what's going on. This is another game that I'm really excited for. Stop it, Stefan. Stop it.
All right, our next one is from Nintendo, coming for the Switch. What?
From Nintendo on the Switch?
Well, it's coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it's very child-friendly, so I wanted to bring this one up. It's called BodyQuest. So, BodyQuest is an educational video game to improve your knowledge of the human body and its systems, such as musculoskeletal, circulatory, respiratory, and more. I want to watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind, there is no trailer. Oh, so place the names. So you actually take the different names and place them around on different body parts there. Place the names: cranium, sternum, spinal column. Okay.
I like that.
Oh, and it looks like there is some action of like attacking stuff too. So.
That's kind of unexpected.
So this is nice. It's like an educational game for kids, which, like I said, I like that kind of stuff because it's helpful. I mean, if it gets if it allows your kids to play a game and learn at the same time, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, and not just kids, anybody who might be interested.
That's true. I mean, it is rated for children 6 to 7. But I mean, like Steve said, anyone can play this. For children 8 to 9, and for children 10 plus and adults. So they literally keep asking you more and more about it. So like, as an example, for children 6 to 7, musculoskeletal system, main elements, most important bones and muscles, difference between bones and muscles. For children 8 and 9, for the musculoskeletal system, elements, up to 10 bones and 8 muscle names, difference between bones and muscles even more. And for 10 plus and adults, musculoskeletal system, again as an example, joints and cartilages, deeper knowledge of the musculoskeletal system. So it actually allows you to keep getting more knowledge, like, as you go. So there's obviously different difficulty levels, which is smart. That's a good way of having replay value for your game. Alright, and our last game for this evening is a game called Adepttus, Titanicus, Dominus. It's a 3D turn-based strategy PC game adaptation of Game Workshop's Titan Legion's tabletop game. Put you in control of the greatest weapons available to the Imperium of the Man, the mighty titans of the Adeptus Titanicus. This was released in 2018. It's still in early access.
Oh no.
So strategy, early access, Warhammer 40k, and mechs. We're going to watch the first trailer, because why not? Whoa, those are different types of mechs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
whoa! Is that a mech on a demon?
That's what it looked like. Oh, shit. Or part mech, part demon?
Is there a pilot inside?
I have no idea.
Part mech, part demon, man inside.
Oh, cop. Wait, no, that's RoBocop. Okay, we're going to watch the second trailer here because we got to see a little bit more of this. Oh, here we go.
Oh, that gameplay, though.
See, I'm not huge into mech games. I have watched Steve play, what was that game?
Ooh, let me go look at my library.
I feel like it starts with an H.
H? No. It starts with an F. It is
Front
Mission Evolved.
Front Mission Evolved.
This looks a little more turn-based,
yeah.
i.e. free movement, but you're grounded. You're not allowed to just move wherever all the time, whenever. Got the tactics judge masters out there telling you when you gotta stop. Can't fire off all your weapons either. That's not.
I like how there's physical combat there too for mechs. That's kind of cool.
Wow. I really like that combat. That looks nice.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, so yeah, this is actually coming out of early access fairly soon, so that's why they wanted me to cover that. So,
okay.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll do it for this week. It was a long podcast, but we covered a lot of good stuff, a lot of interesting stuff, and I must say, since you've joined me for as co-host for the podcast 6, you've brought to light a lot of different stuff. I like that you bring especially hardware. And I also like that you jump into some of the lesser-known indie games that I probably would never even see. It's the same thing as getting games from like itch.io and stuff too, right? So it's nice seeing that kind of stuff. So I like that we have this nice mix of kind of everything, like new, old, but still like trying to keep around the whole, pixel retro kind of feel. I'm telling you, this podcast, I love this podcast.
I like where we're at right now. I like contributing the hardware stuff, and I like trying to find indie games that are definitely out there, but it's been a joy and a pleasure so far, and I guess we'll see what happens next week.
Indeed. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you to all of the our news sources that we have there. There's always a ton of you. You guys know who you are. We mention you every time we open up different articles and stuff. Anyways, so thank you all for joining us, and hopefully you had a good evening with us. And for those who are listening later, hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. Again, if you ever want to, if you're an indie developer and you want to get a hold of either one of us, you can always reach me through my email at owgamer@yahoo.com, which you can also reach Steve that way as well, because if anything comes in and you want him to play, just let me know and I'll make sure that it gets right over to him. You can also use Twitter at owgamer and at 6sevcyrus. That's another easy way to reach either one of us, direct messaging or tweets, whatever the case may be. Alright, so we haven't picked out a game for Steve to play after the podcast, but there's a good chance we might do some max raids for a little bit.
You know, I am down for that. Let's go ahead and do that instead.
Alright, so I do have an early morning tomorrow, but I'm going to stay up for a little bit later because, you know what? I fucking deserve it. I didn't stay up to play games in a long time. I'm going to fucking play games. God damn it. Alright, and of course, before we go,
maybe I get to play Luke here on next week.
Oh, definitely. Well, you can play it anytime, dude. You should just start it up whenever, man.
Probably.
Alright, let's see who we got on here. Let's rate up. I never rate up this person because I can't remember how to pronounce her name. Tekate or Teket. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that he's a speedrunner. He's currently doing Chip and Dale. So we're gonna raid them tonight. There we go. So again, thank you all for joining us. It was a wonderful evening. Hope you have a good night, a good weekend, and of course we will see you next week. Bye bye.